And as I hear the pyro start in the background, I can officially say that the long pop weekend has finally come to a close.
Probably.
No, it's done. We've covered Global Force Wrestling, Destination X. We covered Ring of Honor, War of the Worlds, Liverpool, UK Tour, the iPay-per-view. We've covered SummerSlam. We covered NXT TakeOver, Brooklyn 3, and we covered Monday Night Raw. And tonight, we're talking about everything. Everything. Hopefully someone in chat got that reference. Exactly. So welcome to another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. Joining me as always is Ashley.
Busy.
Yeah, no lie. So what do we got on the docket tonight? Well, I'll tell you. Tonight we have Smackdown, 205 Live, NXT, Global Force Wrestling, and of course the Impact tapings that were just concluded last night, including some live perspective from yours truly, as well as UFC, mixed martial arts, and of course we're preparing for obviously the McGregor-Mayweather fight. And we got What Culture Pro Wrestling, the Lucha Underground, and Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, a load of everything tonight. Plus, we're going to talk a little Southpaw Regional Wrestling, Season 2, or should I say 1.5. All this and more tonight on the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast.
Mm-hmm.
So Ashley, here's my question to you. What happened on Smackdown this week? Oh, wait a minute. That's right. We are once again prognosticators, predicting things that happened actually.
Well,
we called this.
I don't think it's only. I don't think it's only that show. It might be the purple brand as well.
Exactly. We called both of these things.
Yeah, let's get to it. So AJ makes his way out. You know, welcomes everybody to SmackDown, the house that AJ built. And he told the world that he's a workhorse of WWE, and tonight he's reinstating the US title open challenge, and it starts right now. And Kevin Owens comes out and says, "Look, I beat you at SummerSlam. We're done." And Owens is like, "You didn't beat me. What happened on Sunday? 20 years later, history repeated itself, and a McMahon screwed a legendary Canadian out of a title. You can't take any credit. Sean screwed Kevin." So here comes Shane. Shane's the man who beat him, and Shane's still dancing around the ring and everything. And Shane's just like, "Look, I did exactly what I said I'd do. I called the match right down the middle, and AJ won fair." It's like, look, I'm not even going to talk about the fact that you're the guy that survived a helicopter crash. You're the guy that jumped off the Hell in a Cell. But somehow you can't get into position after getting somehow grazed by a 450 splash. Now, I'm not going to mention how you physically assaulted me, leading to his win. And then they recap Shane making the free count on, or the free count being made on AJ, but Kevin not mentioning AJ's foot on the ropes. So they frame that out a shot, and it's like, did you see what I see? And Shane says his foot was on the rope. And Kevin's like, no, you should have looked at the free count. The referee made a free count with my shoulders up, and that counted. So why couldn't it count on the SummerSlam? It's like, look, the foot was on the rope. I waved it off. The referee's count is official. And Kevin basically went, so you counted 3, so it's my belt. And AJ's just like, shut up. And Kevin's like, oh, you don't like the truth? And AJ's like, no, I don't like a whiny ass bitch like you, Kevin. If you want a match, hell, have it. So it's like, okay, Kevin. Okay, AJ. Shane, can we have the match? And Shane says, yeah. And Kevin goes, whoa, that ain't enough. I got screwed by an official ref a few weeks ago and got screwed by a special ref this past week. So I want to be able to choose the ref. And Shane says, there's plenty of people that are competent enough, and AJ's happy with it. And Shane adds then, this is your last shot. If you don't win, as long as AJ's champ, you don't get another shot. And then Daniel Bryan's on the phone and says, we got some surprises. And here come the Sings and Jinder. It's like, why did you want to talk to me, Daniel? I'm glad to see you, oh, sorry, yeah, I know why you wanted me to see you. I'm a progressive thinker, and you're a progressive thinker, Daniel. You're good for the business. He says, no, what I see is somebody who can't win without the two Sings. And Jinder says, you're xenophobic. I'm a hero. And Daniel goes, well, in all honesty, Nakamura deserves retribution for tonight. And Jinder says, I'm not facing Nakamura tonight. And Daniel goes, no, you aren't. The Sings are. Dun, dun, dun. So now Kevin's in the back and sees Sami Zayn and says, just the guy I'm looking for. Look, I know you've been fighting each other and by each other's sides for the last 15 years. And, you can talk about what I've done to you and what you've done to me. But I need somebody I can trust to be the ref. And you fit that label. And Sami goes, I watched your DVD and it brought back a lot of history. To be honest, there's times where we forgot what we're fighting about. And Kevin said, we shouldn't be fighting each other. Since you come to SmackDown, you haven't done much. Tonight, you can do something that counts. Just think about it. So Aiden, English, is singing a song. And then this happens, motherfuckers.
Yep.
Triple H is taking over this fucking business. Lol. Yeah, Aiden, you're on a mini push. Guess who you've got? Imagine doing the hand gestures and everything.
That literally is how I wake up for work every single morning. Because I'm telling you right now, there's nothing that gets you hyped for work in the morning than hearing a Queen knockoff and one of the best wrestling themes WWE has produced in years.
Oh, you mean Dalton Castle?
The other Queen knockoff. The one that more people know.
Bobby wins with a glorious DDT. Good match, especially because Aiden even hit the director's cut and Bobby kicked out, and that was just like beautiful. So Renee's in the ring for an interview and goes, "Why are you on SmackDown?" And Bobby just goes, "I thank you, Daniel and Shane, for breaking the bank and cashing in on the biggest free agent in sports entertainment today." If you don't know by now, you'll know that everything I do is box office. And in a New York minute, SmackDown from being just great to being absolutely glorious.
Okay, so real quick, I don't know if you can just decipher this, because obviously I didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown because I was kind of busy. But I will state right now that my question to you is, apparently JBL said something TNA related on commentary. What exactly?
You referenced something to do with beer money.
Really?
He said the words beer money. I from what I can remember, he said beer money, but he didn't say tag team beer money.
Ah. Logan said
probably
SmackDown Live just got glorious.
It was something like something like you can have all the beer money in the world and it wouldn't be enough to get this guy. I don't know, something like that. But it was done in a sort of sly nod to the marks on the internet because JBL was trying to get over with them, even though they still hate him for nearly murdering Moro's career.
Yep.
Get any crazier. Daniel Bryan's on the phone and Chad Gable comes in.
I figured this was coming, but I wasn't sure if they would go this way or not.
I'm sorry that your tag partner got moved to Raw. And Chad's just like, look, everybody talks to me about Jason. It's never about me. He says, look, there was a deal. And the deal, thanks adverts, is to send Jason Jordan to Raw and get one of Kurt's friends in reply. Surprise number 2, Shelton's back, bitches. Oh my God, don't fucking watch Raw anymore. Everybody's on Smackdown, apart from Jinder, fuck him. Aside from that, whoa. Oh. And Chad's ecstatic as shit. Shelton's a bit surprised by it. And Daniel says, perhaps you should team up next week. I approve. Then we get Kevin in the back giving Sammy the referee shirt. And Sammy says, I thought about it. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought about every rotten thing you've done to me. So I refuse. Dun, dun, dun. So now it's the Hype Bros versus the Usos.
Why?
Because gang rape?
Why is Mojo still a thing?
Who knows? Of course, the Usos win with a thrust kick.
Zack Ryder deserves so much better.
Jimmy basically says, SmackDown Live's on lock. The tag team division's on lock. Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary. Yeah, we can never get out. You're fucking ruining this, Usos. You are shit on the mic. Your ring skill is pretty damn good because you probably had one of the matches of the night on SummerSlam. Apparently, the message for everybody in the locker room is you're going to feel what the New Day did. Like somebody is creeping behind you. It's not paranoia, it's the Usos. Wait, are you implying you're going to gang rape people? Creeping behind you? Because this is a penitentiary? Oh, shit. WWE's going to love that. Thank God the Donald Trump people weren't there because they probably go propaganda. Did they even show up? Did they get kicked out? We never saw them. We saw more beach balls than the Donald Trump protest thing.
Heard about something on Twitter saying that the beach balls were actually banned from Barclays Center for SmackDown.
Probably. They're probably going to be banned from all shows.
Guaranteed.
I wonder how many beach balls are going to be at all the shows coming up this weekend. Progress. What culture?
We shall see.
Trend. So Nakamura versus the Sings. Nakamura pretty much murders both of them. Actually winning with a triangle submission.
That's
on Samia. So afterwards, Mahal tried to attack Shinsuke, but Nakamura kicked him, and then Kinshasa.
So actually, I have a couple comments in chat real quick. Logan says SmackDown Live had just gotten glorious. Welcome, Jeremy Mills. Logan also says SmackDown was pretty decent with Bobby Roode debuting and a return of Shelton Benjamin. Figured that was coming, but it's good to see the gold standard back in the WWE. I completely agree.
Probably.
And I'm very glad that they did what they did with him and Chad Gable. It makes sense. Continue, sir.
Yeah. I'm just confused because I'm trying to look at why we're not live according to my feed. I'm going to refresh all the shit. So Kevin's is in the back, being stopped by Fandango and Breeze. And Tyler says, "Look, we may be off-duty fashion police, but we can be your referee. We can be sexy zebras." And Kevin's like, "No, get out of here."
Why? This could have been amazing.
And then it's like, hang on, hold up. And he notices Monsieur Baron Corbin. And Baron just says, "Look, if you win, Kevin, I get the first shot." And Kevin goes, "Not if I win, when I win." And Kevin said, Baron goes, "You better be a man of your word." Which is a stupid comment because we know, nope. No, he ain't. Right, so I just had to. Okay, that was being stupid for it to not refresh. So then we got Natalia and says, SummerSlam will be known as the day that Glow was unplugged. I prove the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Wipe away your tears, Naomi. Look what a world title looks like. I am the new and forever SmackDown Women's Champion. The dignity will be returned to the belt. It's no longer Glow time. It's my time. And Carmella comes in going, "Well, congrats." And James says, "Well, it only took you 1 billion attempts to get the belt. But there's one thing to talk about. You said it's your time, but you're on my watch." And James says, "You're on borrowed time. Now, I'll let you have your moment at SummerSlam, but when it's my time, that briefcase will be switched for that belt." And bloody Ellsworth's like, who knows? She might even cash in tonight. And Carmella's just like, "You really had to say that. That's okay. Can't do that now." So it's Becky and Naomi versus Carmella and Natalia. And basically, Natalia sort of forcefully tags in Carmella. Becky hits her with an exploder, and Naomi hits her with a split-legged moonsault. So Carmella eats the pin. So we're now backstage, and also back is Dolph Ziggler. And it's like, what we expected. What are we to expect from you, Dolph? And he goes, "I'm excited to reestablish myself in a backstage segment. I was watching a lot of Raw and SmackDown, and I've unlocked a key to what it takes to be a star in this company. I'm going to start singing. I'm going to start playing the guitar. I'm going to rap. I'm going to dance around like an idiot. I'll have a single spotlight and lasers. I'll have a big fancy robe. I'll have a beautiful woman escort me to the ring. Not any woman, but a woman who glows in the dark. And that's what I plan on doing next week." And you know what that coincides with? Fashion Peaks. Part of me wonders, is Dolph the one behind this? We're thinking it's a tag team, whereas it's actually Dolph.
It's possible.
So Lana's on the phone. Tamina comes in, says the ravishing journey to the title starts next week. And Tamina's like, "So what are we doing this week?" And Lana's like, "We're going to figure out why we want this journey. Rise and remember the feeling being in a locker room full of people, but they don't see you. They talk behind your back because you're different, because we're different. Take the feelings and let them fester until the anger boils over." And Tamina opens her eyes, and "I can see the rage in you, and together we'll crush the competition until you become champ." So then AJ walks by and spots Baron and says, "Look, I made a deal with Kevin. I get the first title shot if I win or if he wins." And AJ goes, "When I win, there'll be an open challenge every week. And if you want a chance, just challenge me, man." So Owens versus AJ. Once again, they overbooked the shit out of this. Every single time these guys have gone one-on-one, they've made it too complicated for what it has to be, which is a match between two bloody talented guys. So much so that basically, you know, Corbin was sort of trying to help out Owens, fast counts and everything, and Shane came out and argued with Baron about what he was doing. And Owens hit a low blow while Corbin and Shane were distracted, and Shane then pulls Corbin out the ring because of what he saw, because he saw the low blow. And, you know, Kevin's like, "What's going on?" And Corbin just takes off his referee shirt and gives it to Shane and leaves. Shane puts on the shirt, and AJ hits the phenomenal forearm on Kevin, and AJ wins. And there's your build up to, I guess, Hell in a Cell, everybody. Because I think that's now going to be the gimmick. Yeah, let's have him jump off the top of the cell. That's going to be the continuous thing. Because reasons. So then into 205 Live, we've got Gulak starting up saying, "I believe in a better company, and I want to welcome a man who shares in my beliefs, Tony Nese." And Nese is like, "Where you at, Brooklyn?" They're probably asleep. Yeah, looking at all these people, I know where Brooklyn's never at, the gym. Just take another bite of your pizza and waste away. How do you all feel looking like that when I look like this? I'm what the Premier Athlete looks like. So those two take on Alexander and Matalik, and just like last time, except this time on Gulak, Alexander wins it with a lumbar check. Pretty good match. No honesty. So then Titus is with Cesaro in the locker room and says, "Look, Sunday was a setback. And I wanted you to wait a little longer for the rematch." And Cesaro says, "I'm ready to get it back tonight." And Titus is just like, "Okay, let's get the power of Cesaro back and bring the Titus back to Titus Worldwide." So now it's time for Kendrick and Gallagher's duel. And Gallagher comes out and says, "There's people who push their buttons. There's people out there that push people's buttons, and the person that does it for me is Kendrick. And a duel is how gentlemen should settle things. You know, Ryan is not a gentleman. And I have not been a gentleman lately. You know, I've been called a clown and disrespected by Brian. I was told I would never make it to the top. You know, maybe it's true that I've been a gentleman for far too long. Sometimes you need to knock somebody out. And I'll need to show Brian how much of a fighter I am." And Brighton appears on the screen and says, "This is pathetic. You're pathetic. Surrounding yourself with toys and ridiculous props. Just proving me right. You're nothing but a mustache-twirling clown. You expecting to duel with me? I'm a fighter. A clown has duels." "And I found a suitable opponent for you. And here comes some guy that's a fucking clown." And of course, Gallagher gets sprayed in the face with a squirting flower. So Jack headbutts the clown and kicks him down. Smacks him with a kendo stick. Sorry, no, throws the kendo stick aside, throws the pipe aside, grabs the umbrella, and then doesn't even go for that. He just pulls the cover off the table because he's going to use the table. And Jack goes for a powerbomb for it, but Kendrick runs in, hits Gallagher in the back with an umbrella, and powerbombs Jack through the table. And Brian says, "Look, we both got to beat up a clown tonight. You say you belong here on this company? I can prove that I belong." Next week, no DQ match. So TJ is playing video games in the back because they're recapping the fact that it was Rich Swann versus Daivari because TJ was apparently injured. And Swan comes in and says, "Look, stop playing for a moment so we can talk." When I heard you, Swan, asking why I was scratched, and look, I got hurt in our last match, and I went out to watch you finish off Daivari, and I didn't expect you to get distracted by my music. And Swan's like, "You gonna go there?" And TJ's just like, "Look, I know you're salty. I've taken this competition between us too far. Instead of focusing on me, you should focus on Daivari. That was a win that you shouldn't have given away. Maybe you can get a win the next time you face him." And Swan goes, "I'll beat Daivari, and then we can have our rubber match. Heal up so you can focus on me." So then Neville and Tozawa. Very good match again. Neville retaining with the Rings of Saturn. Really good. Neville's just like, commiserations for anybody expecting another title change. Nothing but a pathetic reign that lasted all but 6 days. A footnote in the history books, because the history books will read, "Still your cruiserweight champion, conquering all and the king of the cruiserweights." And then here comes Enzo's music. And Enzo says, 205 Live just became the realest show in the room. You may call yourself the king, Neville, but there's one word to describe you, and I'm going to spell it out. PAC. So yeah, the transitions happened. Probably forced, in all honesty.
I'd say so.
But it says a lot that it's SmackDown's best rating since WrestleMania. Last night.
Interesting.
So that's promising. Oh, that's interesting. The bracketology show for the Mae Young Classic is now free on YouTube. So if you haven't seen it and you don't have a network, it's there to build you up as the I don't know, usual stuff. Just thought I'd add that in. So yeah, I think that's all the WWE stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we have right now for SmackDown and 205 Live. We probably should move into, might as well finish up with NXT now.
Yes, we might as well finish off Brooklyn.
So,
to you.
Obviously, this show was filmed before TakeOver Brooklyn 3. It's got a couple matches. Interesting show, to say the least. Here comes No Way Jose, and thankfully he gets attacked before the match even starts. Lars Sullivan attacks him, press slams him into the ring apron, and hits Uranagi in the ring. So Lars Sullivan is going with his crazy man gimmick still. Don't give him a tag partner, because obviously that ends badly. But now he's out just to beat up anyone. I'm okay with this. We get footage of Almas and Gargano from TakeOver. And Gargano is interviewed after the show. He basically said he has no excuses. He's it's not a memory that was the reason he lost. He lost because of his own. He owns this loss, and he's going to have to be better. We get clips of Ember and Asuka. Asuka's in the back. She's like, I'm better than you. I never thought the title was even in jeopardy. And they asked her about NXT, and she just said she's the champion. And they bring up the fact that she got hurt, and she's going to be returning soon. So we get Pete Dunne and Wolfgang in the back about facing Mustache Mountain. Dunne says his title win was the beginning of the UK brand. Wolfgang goes, you know what? I've been patiently waiting for a shot at the UK Championship, and if we win tonight, I want a shot. Dunne goes, you know what? Focus on tonight first and don't get ahead of yourself. Then we get a match where Owen was really split. And that, of course, is the fact that two of my two absolute favorites in the women's division of NXT went one-on-one. Two of my favorites because of their wrestling skill, and I'll be honest, they're very attractive ladies, and they can wrestle, and that's a huge plus in my book. Peyton Royce taking on Sarah Logan. Obviously, everyone knows how big of a mark I am for Crazy Mary. Always have been. Like I said, was very fortunate enough to meet her and Ray Rowe at Universal a couple months ago. Peyton, I've always been a fan of her work. I like the iconic duo. I could honestly see them as fodder on SmackDown as well. See them in SmackDown somewhere down the line. I don't know exactly when, but sometime down the line. Decent stuff here. Peyton got the heat for a while, and then Sarah came back after she ducked the spin kick and hit a really nice deadlift German suplex. And she basically got a front drop kick. Peyton was about to get suplexed, and Billy held her, so obviously that didn't happen. Sarah with a quick flash roll-up got an ear fall off of it, and Peyton turned it around, and Perfect Plex finishes it. I will say right now, I think Peyton Royce has one hell of a bridge. You don't see bridges in Perfect Plexes anymore, like really strong bridges, like Kurt Hennig style bridges, which is the reason why it's obviously a Perfect Plex and not a Fisherman Suplex. I mean, the bridge that Peyton Royce has is just perfect, absolutely perfect.
Oh shit!
Not good.
Something interesting's happened. We'll talk about it after we've finished NXT.
Death of Jeremy Mills says the death of WWE 205 Live. Yeah, possibly.
No, the weird thing is, because Enzo's on it, it actually might get more people watching because the mainstream people like Enzo, even if backstage and hardcore fans sort of don't. That could be the weird thing.
We'll see.
The thing is, that crowd did not give a shit about that show. And then when Enzo showed up, they woke up and they didn't care about anything else. They were all of a sudden invested in this product.
I don't know.
Somebody that's garnered a reputation, because remember, Neville was off injured for months and months and months. And how did he debut? 205 Live.
Very true.
You've literally taken somebody from the main brand and sort of moved them down, let's be honest. But because that person's been on the mainstream stuff and, they've had quite a push for the past few months because of the Cass-Enzo feud, it might get the eyes on it.
It's possible.
Anyway, let's talk about the UK wrestling scene and why.
Let's discuss this real quick. So, highlights of Sanity against the Authors of Pain and a recap of Bobby Roode and Drew McIntyre. And, of course, we get to see what happens when Adam Cole and Red Dragon attacked. Next week, this is going to be talked about, which means tomorrow on the NXT tapings. Bobby Roode was interviewed afterwards. He basically said, I'm not going to speak to anybody. Then they showcased him debuting on SmackDown. They asked if he was done in NXT. He says he never leaves behind unfinished business. Roderick Strong's still on his radar. And he says, you know what? After I lost to McIntyre, Roddy blew me a kiss. Not sure what that's about. Kiss me goodbye, apparently. Highlights of Aleister Black and Hideo Itami. Black was asked and did nothing. Main event time, the United Kingdom champion Pete Dunne teaming up with Wolfgang to take on Mustache Mountain of Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. I'll give credit to Morrow, as always, for referencing them as Mustache Mountain.
Well, they are.
Oh, I'm just glad they mentioned it in WWE television.
True, but they are.
Indeed. Some good stuff here. I enjoyed this match for every bit of it. So many great things in this match. 7-star lariat happened in this match. We got towards the end of the match with a big lariat from Tyler Bate. He went for the reverse airplane spin. Wolfgang breaks up the pin. He eats the spinning back fist, and Tyler ends up hitting Bop and Bang to take Wolfgang out. Actually, take Pete Dunne out in this case. Dunne to step up Enziguri, Bate with a capo kick, and Wolfgang blind tags in. Tyler Driver 97. Wolfgang comes off with a howling and scores a clean win on Tyler Bate. Excellent match. I really enjoyed this. Very much hoped. I don't know. Is the UK talent going to be in for the NXT tapings tomorrow?
Good question. Because I know that British Strong Style are going to be a part of Fight Club Pro show. Actually, no, thinking about it, looking at the notes, I think, let me look quickly. I can find him. No, that's the other one. No, that's the other one. That's the other one. So Friday, I do not see them listed. Saturday, for the show in London, they are on.
Interesting.
But there is a spot where I guess if they get back in time, they could be a mystery tag team.
Okay.
For the Fight Club show. I know they're work in progress, but that's on Sunday. So there's a possibility that they may be there for the NXT tapings and then fly in, I guess, to London for the Fight Club Pro Saturday show in London. So they'll miss the Wolverhampton show. But then again, they're going to be in Wolverhampton the next week anyway for King of Trios. As will I.
Yes,
well, at least for the last day.
So you were alluding about something that happened. You want to further elaborate?
Well, obviously, due to TK Cooper's injury.
Yep. Oh, I just saw this too.
He got thrown, well, not thrown out, but he had to obviously pull out of Bola. We now have his replacement. It's another first-timer, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened since. Or quicker, I should say. Sammy Guevara now faces Joey Janela.
Oh, wow.
Joey Janela is in Bola.
That's awesome.
I am in the wrong country. Then again, tickets would be about 3 times as much as I paid for Shikara, so yeah. Also, the temperature would be bloody terrible.
Oh, it's okay. You get used to it after a while, trust me.
Yeah, but let's be honest. LA is normally hotter than Florida
Yeah, correct,
on
but
average.
still.
If people that are living there normally find it hot in there, that tells you a lot.
Yeah, I can see that.
Even there, like, it's too hot, man. Too hot.
When is Bola start again?
Labor Day weekend,
Good Lord.
just like King of Trios. Although the
Right.
irony is now, if you're watching it live, or if you're not watching it, but you're looking for the results live online, they won't be one after the other. That'd be like a 4-hour, 5-hour gap.
Interesting.
Even more so, I guess, because the Sunday show is an afternoon show over here. And I think it's mid-afternoon, early evening Pacific Coast time.
Okay.
So there's actually probably like more like a 6 or 7 hour gap. Because, if it's a 7 o'clock show over here, it'll finish hopefully around 10, half 10-ish, maybe. Which would
Okay.
be 5, half 5-ish your time. Bowler wouldn't start until at least 11 your time. And that's if they start on time, which 99 times out of 100, they don't.
Of course.
I want to have a quick look to see if we got the time. Oh, that's interesting. They've also added that the Young Bucks will no longer be on night one of Bowler as well. So where are they wrestling next Friday instead then? Because they're there for night 2, but the Young Bucks are out.
Maybe they took a personal night,
Possibly.
but usually that stuff doesn't really happen. So
the show starts at 5 p.m. local time, which is 8 Eastern, for the final night. So that's probably more. Yeah, that's again like 5 or 6 hours.
right.
Hopefully. Otherwise, I'm not getting home. So I don't know what's happening now for the tag team match because the Bucks are out and obviously TK. So I don't know who Travis is going to wrestle. Probably somebody that's available. Who knows? I guess we'll find out next week. Probably.
Indeed.
Right. What do we need to
And
wrap up next?
We move forward from Global Force Wrestling.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry, I thought we were talking about something else. I didn't want to be negative on it already, but after seeing some of your tweets, God, it's going to be a fun it's going to be a fun 3 months.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I guess we start with Friday stuff.
Yeah, we'll go with Friday.
I mean, have you got your notes? Because I ain't got any me.
I would implore you while I'm going over Friday. Make sure you
the
look
Twitter
over.
feed up.
Yeah, get Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, right. I better find them. Windsor.
Yes. Do Windsor.
Please, Windsor. Please, Windsor. That's going to be complicated, though, because probably I get to the bottom of the scroll and it's like, yes, SummerSlam. Oh, no, NXT.
Yeah, called that right. So where are we? We are on... Since, of course, I can't do math. I don't know what day it is. So we're talking about Friday. Friday is...
Some of this would be taping for tomorrow, which would be the 24th.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'll do what I can here. Okay, so that's Destination X. Destination X is actually, but this week is the Gauntlet for the Gold.
Yes.
You want to start with? Oh, what's aired now? Just Destination X.
Everything up to basically where we talked about with Seidel and Lashley.
Okay. So
we did talk about the fact that Eli Drake's champion, so we did, I guess, cover
somewhat.
We covered what got taped on Thursday for this coming week.
We totally did.
But the stuff that is going to be coming up tomorrow, that was taped the day after, we haven't covered.
Yeah, we'll get to that
also,
right now.
by the looks of it, nobody has a clue what happened. Not even P. Windsor. All I see is notes from Monday and Tuesday. Saturday and Sunday are just like, yeah, no.
That's what happens when I have to cover other events. Okay, so
no, that's everywhere. That's the best bit. That's everywhere.
So
everywhere is evil.
That's not everywhere. There's results that exist. I can assure you there's results that exist.
Probably.
I won't be able to give you like results like I normally would deliver, but I mean, I do know that there's results that exist because thank you, Cage Match, for having these results.
Ooh.
Okay. So, explosion match, Taiji Ishimori defeating Suicide with a 450. We get Eli Drake come out to kick off Impact. He's got a zebra couch. He's got chairs. And Eli and Chris Adonis are smoking cigars. Here comes Johnny Impact out. He wants the GFW Championship. Here comes Eddie Edwards. He's like, this isn't AAA. Here, I outrank you. Eddie wants a shot at the title. Johnny doesn't care who has to beat. Here comes Jim Cornette. He's like, you know what? We're going to do a tag match. Whoever wins gets the title shot. Eli Drake wins. He doesn't have to defend the title. Then we get our grand championship match. The judges, Dutch Mantel, Scott D'Amore, and the return of Hector Guerrero.
Hector!
EC3 defending against El Hijo del Fantasma. So round one went to EC3 after he hit a vicious TK3 over the top rope to the ring apron. Fantasma took round two with the top rope Rana, a vicious frog splash, and rolled him up with a tapatia, which of course is the Mexican surfboard. And EC3 hit a hanging 1%er, but he couldn't make the cover, and Scott D'Amore gave it to EC3, Dutch Mantel gave it to Fantasma, and Hector was the one that had to give it to EC3. That calls for the
Hector's
retaining.
racist.
Oh boy.
Hector's racist.
Fantasma gets up in Hector's face, and he's like, nah, maybe not. And then then all of a sudden, here comes Pagano. They double team EC3. Eddie Edwards makes the save. Impact matchup, ODE defeating Mario Bakara and Falaba, a match that we called for Destination X. It happened the day after.
For Explosion.
No, this is an Impact match.
Oh, good. Thank God. Panic over.
Dave Christ won with pinning Mario Bakara after a Doomsday Cutter. I noticed real quick, Petey Williams has WWAD on his gear, and judging by the image, it kind of looks like he's saying pretty much what would Charles Atlas do. Makes sense. Petey Williams defeated Caleb Conley, who had Trevor Lee in his corner with a Canadian Destroyer. Phenomenal match. Trevor attacked him afterwards. Here comes Sanjay for the save. And they all celebrate. We see good old Super Cop Dick Justice. He's now standby wrestler Richard Justice. And he loses a very quick squash match to Congo Kong with a frog splash. Kong grabs the Goozle, and here comes Shera. Yeah, great. Shera clears the ring. Here comes LAX out. No homicide. Yeah. Hate to break this news as well. I don't know about homicide, but I know Low Key is gone. That broke a couple hours ago. Low Key is gone from GFW.
Yeah, yeah, the guy you've been pushing for months, gone. Alberto, indefinitely suspended. Homicide, oh, he's here. Never shows up. Tyrus, gone. Pope, gone.
Here's the thing, though. It was amicable between GFW and Low Key. Apparently, from what we're hearing is the fact that Low Key wanted to be in the world title picture, which is what they set up. And for Bound for Glory, they wanted him in an Ultimate X match. So this is not the first time tonight we're going to talk about wrestlers being unhappy with their positions on the card and wanting their release. One got his, two are about to get theirs. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Quickly mention Pope's one, because obviously did you see Pope's reason?
I didn't, actually.
This is the best. This is like an Owen response.
Lord.
It's that good. Let's see if I can find it in my notes, because it's dotted. Negotiations between the sides failed due to arithmetic.
I have no words.
That's brilliant. Basically, like, they ain't offering me enough money, so I said bye. I just like the fact his quote was, negotiations failed due to arithmetic.
Big words are a good thing, Ashley.
So apparently Owen can't do spelling either.
I can totally spell. I just can't do math.
Yeah, so you're telling me that you were part of the negotiations because the arithmetic got failed?
Probably.
Yes, there you go. You had it here first, everybody.
So this match is Low Key against Cowboy James Storm. So Storm.
So we're putting him in this match, which is like world title contender versus world title contender,
right?
And then by the end of it, they go, "Yeah, we want you in Ultimate X."
Well,
I'd leave.
It's all about. We'll get to that. Don't worry. So about this match, which I want to bring up real quick before we move forward, it was Storm. It's the last call. Here comes Santana from behind with the tag belt, where the referee's distracted. Low Key, it's basically he doesn't hit Warrior's Way, because Warrior's Way is tied up with the tree of Joey Lawrence and the double stomp. He just basically hit the leaping double stomp off the top. This match. A match that longtime NWA TNA fans, I'm talking about fans from back in the weekly pay-per-view days, the people that were really excited to see the matches between Triple X and America's Most Wanted, they're going to love this match.
Yeah.
I love this match. This match was awesome. Easily one of the best matches I saw all week.
Yeah.
So good. So we get Eli Drake and Chris Adonis against Johnny Impact and Eddie Edwards. Very long. This match will get at least 2 commercial breaks, if not 3. Drake pinned Edwards after the gravy train, and here comes American Top Team. Obviously, I don't have knowledge of MMA, so this is when it gets like, I guess I somewhat know these people, but not really. Thank you, Uncle Dave, for even knowing who Dan Lambert is because of you. Colby Covington.
I don't know. I don't even know who he is. I'm supposed to know this shit.
It's Dave. Dave brought this up about a week ago when these results came out. Dave was talking about Dan Lambert and everything, and then it's funny because his name was never mentioned on any of these tapings until after I heard Dave's report, and then JB actually brought him up by name. So Colby is basically being Lashley's hype man. Cornette comes out and says, next week, Matt Seidel's getting the title shot against Eli Drake. And you're just going to have to wait, Lashley. So then we get an Impact match that's probably going to be on next week's taping. Sanjay Dutt and P.D. Williams against Caleb Conley and Trevor Lee. Conley eats the top rope splash from Sanjay after the Canadian Destroyer. We get a tag match with LAX, non-title on Impact, taking on John Bolin and Zachary Wentz of Scarlet and Graves. Wentz ate the Street Sweeper for the pin. Straight up squash. Here comes the Chris brothers. And Conan basically sets up the match on September 2nd in Tijuana for the tag belts. So now that I know that, it makes me think that what they're going to do is the match that they taped at Victory Road is probably going to be a rematch, potentially. Tag match, Ali and Gail Kim taking on Sienna and Taryn Terrell. My God, all these women are super attractive and they all can work. Life is good. Gail literally pulled down Taryn's pants. Straight up.
Right.
Like, tried to moon the whole crowd. Obviously, I was on the wrong side of the crowd, sadly.
Right, so that means it's on camera side.
I have a feeling it's going to have to be edited out. I don't know if she was wearing, I couldn't tell if she was wearing like a thong or a G-string or they showed a full moon or not. I mean, I'm guessing if you're going to set up a storyline like that, I have a feeling that probably didn't happen. So
that newborn Christian shit's going brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps. So Braxton, of course, and KM are in their respective corners, and they brawl to the back. Ali hits the flying body press. Sienna rolls through, gets the pin. And then Taryn and Sienna beat down Ali and Gail. Here comes Rosemary for the save. And then who comes out? Taya Valkyrie. Her entrance is amazing live, by the way. And when she gets in the ring, she turns heel, lays out Rosemary with the double chicken wing face buster. Yes, the good old Beth Phoenix finisher. And then we get the picture that obviously I posted on Twitter that everybody marked out for because apparently I got the right shot of Taya Valkyrie. And Taryn Terrell, for that matter. Forming their new alliance, which doesn't have a name.
They'll probably call it the Puppet Shed.
Oh, God. So Jim Cornette comes out to a new theme. He's got, like I said before, he has the Cornette face literally in his strawn. He says, if I was a betting man, I'd put everything on Matt Sydal walking out with the GFW Championship. Jim, it's good you're not a betting man. Here comes Johnny Impact. Of course, he's wearing his Boone the Bounty Hunter t-shirt for most of his segments tonight. And before the show started, they actually aired a commercial for Boone the Bounty Hunter. Johnny goes, I want the winner of Eli Drake and Matt Sydal next week. Let's call it GFW's champion versus Triple A's champion. Here comes LAX. Cornette gets up and is accosted by Conan. Low-key gets up in Johnny's face. He's like, this isn't WWE or Lucha Underground. It's Global Force Wrestling. Johnny tries to fight off everyone. Here comes security. They hold everyone back. Cornette says, you need to leave to LAX. Really volatile situation, Ashley, especially with Conan talking about AAA.
Mm-hmm.
Got to imagine if Work or Shoot Conan really got a lot off his chest here.
Probably. Although I do find it interesting this ain't AAA. You know, because of the title and everything.
I know. That's what happens.
By the end of this weekend, he might not have it. In which case, this comment is a bit awkward.
Right. So
and won't have any context.
We'll get to that. Don't worry. So we get a tag match. It's the Unorthodox unlikely tandem of EC3 and Eddie Edwards taking on Pagano and Phantasma. And all of a sudden, when the match was basically not in hand, here comes Texano with a bull rope. He attacked EC3. Here comes James Storm out for the save, hits Texano with a beer bottle, shakes hands with Eddie Edwards, and he kind of glares at EC3. Crowd was really hot for this. Main event time, Eli Drake defeated Matt Sydal with a belt shot, and then the Gravy Train. The crowd was split down the middle. Really good match. And the main event was started with Bobby Lashley quitting Impact to join, to go back to MMA, go back to Bellator. So Lashley says he wants one match before he leaves, and he wants it against Moose. JB says, you know what, you need to call him a quitter. And, of course, the crowd does. Lashley comes out to a mixed reaction. They're chanting he's a quitter. Lashley gets on the mic, says, I had to make the decision between MMA and pro wrestling, and since I've been forced to choose, I'm going to go back home, back to fighting the American Top Team to win the heavyweight championship. My last night in the Impact Zone, and he calls out Moose. Moose decks Lashley. They fight in the crowd, and no ref, no rules. They fight literally into the crowd. You'll love this. Ashley, you know my friend Joe?
A bit.
No, not my friend Joe Park. My friend Joe, the one that lives in Orlando, the one that I've been friends with since Horror Nights and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my friend Joe actually will be a part of this match because at one point he's sitting in the bleachers and Moose falls on him and kind of traps him. That was funny. So right after this happened, he kind of went upstairs, so you probably get to see me in that crowd shot. Lashley hits a spinning neckbreaker on the ramp. Moose with a pump kick. Moose spears Lashley outside the ring, tosses him in the ring. Here comes American Top Team, and here comes security. They get taken out. Everyone poses over Moose. Lashley flips off the crowd. He bows, and that's how we end. They check on Moose. His music plays. Match over. So I'd love to say I can do the rest of this, but I can't because I don't have results here.
Oh, we do.
Oh, I'm not happy with them because they suck.
Oh, trust me. There's enough stupid shit here to make you go, thank God you're watching NXT and Ring of Honor and SummerSlam.
I would like to have seen a couple of these matches.
So, from Saturday's tapings, this is probably going to be the first 2 episodes in September.
Okay.
We got Pagano and beating Cody Martin for an explosion taping. Then Grado faced a jobber.
I want to know who that is.
I don't know.
It would be useful if I had a picture or something.
The important bit is that Joseph Park announced that he would sponsor Grado's visa so he can stay in America. So they're celebrating and everything.
All right.
Then, in a Falls Count Anywhere match, new X Division champ, Trevor Lee beats Andre Dutt. With a pin happening, apparently, outside the building, and with Caleb Conley interference. Because if it wasn't enough that it's AAA versus GFW, it's now apparently also old versus new in the X Division.
Yep.
So Johnny Impact then comes out about challenging Eli for the world title, and KM shows up saying Drake's in Mexico. And Johnny says bullshit. Says that, Eli's dodging me. And KM says, all right, put your title shot on the line. So he does so. Impact wins. Then Taya Valkyrie beats Ava Story. Then Laurel Van Ness is back with her messed up makeup and is in the crowd searching for a husband. Thank God you didn't fucking go.
I'd like to have been there for that.
Yeah, but...
Might be entertaining.
So then Taya cuts a promo wanting a shot at Sienna. and Rosemary wants in as well. And then Sienna shows up and Taya beats down on Rosemary and Sienna joins in. Ali makes the save and Taryn comes out and then Gail Kim runs out because reasons. Then we had Congo Kong beat Marabali Shira.
Yay.
El Hijo del Fantasma and Tejano beat EC3 and James Storm. Trevor Lee beat Petey Williams to retain the X Division title. Then we got Laurel back out wearing a different outfit, but still drinking and stupid makeup. Taya then beat Amber Nova, so she wrestled twice. And also Johnny Impact wrestled twice, beating Low Key to stay number one contender. Notice, and as it says in the notes here from cage side seats, GFW are doing this as if it's the G1 briefcase.
Yep.
Oh dear. And then amazingly, despite the fact he isn't here because he's in Mexico, Drake shows up. And then Adonis attacks him from behind and there's a 2-on-1 beatdown. Then we get to Sunday.
I got a little bit better notes on this one.
So there was a non-title 6-way, which Desmond Xavier won, pinning Trevor Lee. The match also had Pete Williams, Seidel, Garza Jr., and Sonjay. So then the women get a chance to make their case for a title shot. Sienna starts by lobbying for a Hall of Fame induction ceremony for her at Bound for Glory. She calls leads Gail Kim to come out. Then Taryn Terrell says Gail's never beaten her. And then Ali says she should get a title shot. And Karen says, yes, all of you. Who knows? Johnny Impact beat Tejano. Then OVE beat LAX to win the GFW titles.
I wanted to see that match.
And then Borash reveals accusations that Joseph Park has been stealing from Grado. Joseph denies this, shoves JB. And Borash says there will be a trial later on. So then we get old guys of Seidel, Petey, and Sonjay beating Everett, Connolly, and Lee. Seidel pinning Everett in that 6-man, by the way. Afterwards, Dutt challenged Lee to a title fight at BFG. But then Williams and Seidel both also want the match too. So I guess that's your Ultimate X.
Yep. Why is Matt Seidel not in the world title picture?
Probably 6-way with all of them. That's a really bad thing. OVE beat John Boland and Trey Miguel. Then James Storm Alley and Desmond Xavier beat Andrew Everett, Tejano, and Sienna. That's random. So the in-ring trial of Joseph Park nets a confession. Joe admits he's been stealing from Grado in that he has his visa. So he proposes a match Bound for Glory. If Grado wins, he can stay. But if he loses, he gets deported. And Grado says, fine. And then Joseph says, it won't be me. It'll be Abyss. And it'll be a Monsters Ball match. The Victory Road logo is then a backup for a James Storm promo and says, the AAA wrestlers disrespect me because they know I'm the best in the company. And Tejano interrupts. And Storm says, it's not America versus Mexico because we're all humans. And they have a fight. El Hijo runs in and says, look, I support Global Force, but AAA is the best in the world. Are you fucking kidding me? You're just as bad as each other, you dumb cunts. EC3 actually saves Storm and then they shake hands. Because it's Mexico versus America. Jesus Christ, Jeff. Is that the best you can fucking do? We then have the heel team of Sienna, Taryn, and Taya beating Rosemary, Gail, Kim, and Ali, with Sienna pinning Ali. That'll be a guess as well on Victory Road. And then also on Victory Road, Eli Drake beat Johnny Impact to retain the title, with ref bumps and Adonis involved, of course. Afterwards, Drake and Adonis attack Johnny, but Garza Jr. comes to make the save. And then LAX shows up to beat him down on him. And then Adonis manages to attack some referees. So this is confusing as fuck. And then we go back to you for what you did see.
Yep.
I guess.
So I came in for Sunday, for Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
So these tapings will be airing on my birthday, September 21st. EC3 successfully defended the Grand Championship. Actually, it was a non-title match. I said it. He worked on Explosion against Moose. Beat Moose with a back kick to the nuts and a roll-up with the tights.
Jesus.
Explosion also featured Cowboy James Storm defeating Caleb Conley with Andrew Everett after the last call super kick. Caleb took a swig of Storm's beer at one point, and he ate the super kick and spat beer everywhere. That was pretty awesome. So we get Eli Drake and Chris Adonis celebrating Johnny Impact losing at Victory Road. Impact's not here tonight, and he's not even coming back. He gives his jacket the gravy train. This promo was straight up Ric Flair, 100% homage. He's like, "You're gonna have a match tonight, Chris. I don't know exactly who your opponent is, but I'm sure you're gonna beat him." And here comes Garza Jr. So this match is an Impact match. Garza Jr. and Chris Adonis go to no contest. Johnny Impact comes out and attacks Chris Adonis. Jim Cornette comes out and says, next week, one-on-one, we're going to have Johnny Impact versus Garza Jr. The winner's challenging Eli Drake at Bound for Glory on November 5th. And the countdown clock is ticking. And Eli and Adonis are eating popcorn at ringside. This leads to Johnny and Garza going at it one more time until the security guards finally subtract them from the equation. And Cornette's like, you know what? You're not going to have to wait. Tonight, you're going to get that match. Taryn comes out. You need to cheer for me. I have a title shot at Bound for Glory, but it's time to set my sights on something personal, and that's Gail Kim. Here comes Gail. Taryn, you know what? You have nothing to worry about. I'm not here to attack you. I'm here to talk. See, just stop. Mind games don't work with me. I believe karma will slap you in the face before I do. So that's exactly what she does. And Taryn gets knocked out of the ring. Taryn's arms are crossed, and she bombs out. Gail celebrates with the crowd. So Rosemary wins a squash match against Hannah Hartkoff, which is Miss Hannah, an indie worker. After the match, the lights go out, then they come back on. She calls out Taya. She says, you need to accept to dance with the demon. Here she comes. So Rosemary goes for the mist. Taya ends up missing her instead and lays out Rosemary with a double chicken wing face buster. So because the mist and the beer, they, of course, have to change the ring canvas, so that takes a minute. We get LAX coming out. So, of course, you have EYFBO, Conan, and Diamante. No low-key, no homicide. Didn't know that at the time. They call OVE for the rematch. And here comes the Chris brothers with tag belts. They have chairs as protection. Crowds are split right down the middle. It's like, name the match, you got it. Conan says 5150 street fight. OVE's like, you know what, we're not afraid of anything. You got it. It doesn't matter what it is. And Diamante goes, when I say 5150, that means all of us. Here comes a brawl. Dave Christ eats the hanging cutter Yakuza kick combo. They toss Jake over the top through a table that was set up beginning in the match. And that match is set for Bound for Glory. Explosion, non-title match. Trevor Lee defeating Suicide with a sunset flip counter with holding the ropes. Unique. Impact had Johnny Impact defeating Garza Jr. with a roll-up reversal and to become the #1 contender. They shook hands after the match was over, and Jim Cornette gets in the ring to officially announce the #1 contendership. Chris Adonis comes out, and he has a wooden board, and he shatters it over Johnny's head, leaving him laying. Fans are chanting, "Fire him." And Cornette and Brian Hebner checking on Johnny as Chris Adonis leaves. Yes, I will say right now, and just like I said live, that most people probably didn't get, and I didn't say this on Twitter, Ashley, if Johnny Impact was more preoccupied with Rex Kwon Do instead of parkour, he probably should have known that was coming.
Yeah.
Desmond Xavier defeated Andrew Everett with Trevor Lee and Caleb Conley with the double backflip kick. That was an Impact match. JB got in the ring, talked about Bound for Glory. Here come American Top Team. They shoved down JB. We came in as a favor to Jeff Jarrett. We watched how Lashley wasted his MMA potential. Fans were really not into this, chanting boring. Dan Lambert getting X-Pac heat, I guess you would say. They chanted, "We don't care." Dan Lambert says, "I have one of the biggest memorabilia collections in professional wrestling." And he brought out a bunch of things, talking about championships, and one of his championship facts was incorrect. So he ends up getting a fight with a ringside fan, and he talked about the Jarretts. He pulled out the original AWA World Championship, the one that I actually got. Yeah, the original AWA World Championship. He brought out a bunch of things. He had a bunch of various memorabilia pieces in a bag. So Lashley will team with King Mo to take respect back for American Top Team. Lambert loves wrestling, but just like Vince McMahon, he wants to destroy it. He calls out Moose and Stephen Bonner, who had yet to be announced yet, to face King Mo and Lashley, not in a wrestling match, but a fight. Bound for Glory. Here comes Bonner and Moose. They show up. Lashley attacks them from behind. They mug Stephen Bonner. Murder, death, kill to both Moose and Bonner. Here comes security and refs. They get taken out. Here comes Shira. He gets taken out. Yay. Caleb Conley gets taken out. Andrew Everett gets taken out. And Top Team basically stand tall. Dan Lambert says we're dismissed. They destroyed Moose and Bonner, laid waste to the whole roster. And Lashley looks at the crowd and mouths, "I'm not going anywhere." Main event time, Johnny Impact wins with a Sky Twister elbow, defeating Chris Adonis. Eli Drake gets in the ring. Johnny rips his pants off, revealing his boxers, and he whips him with his belt, and Adonis makes the save. Eli is now in boxers, choking Johnny with his T-shirt, and Eli whips him. Garza Jr. runs out with a chair, and they toss pieces of Drake's shirt into the crowd to send the fans home happy.
Really? Happy? You're fucking kidding me?
So then we get the final night of tapings. Latin night. We have one of the ladies that normally does like the hype for in-ring and Universal to try to get people to come to the show, and they give out tickets. She was actually promoting this as Latin Night, and they had two young children actually as guest ring announcer and guest timekeeper for the first match. And I did do pictures in this match, and you notice some of the weirdest pictures in the world. Explosion match, Cowboy James Storm defeating Chris Adonis with the last call super kick.
Why is he on Explosion?
Yeah, it's what they do. Maybe they're trying to build Explosion. They're trying to make it matter. It's possible.
No.
Don't know why.
No.
So then we get Rosemary defeating Ava Story with the Red Wedding. This match was really good. When you get a chance to check this out, it's definitely something to watch. It's too bad it's on Explosion, but it's definitely really good. They gave it a little bit of time to actually develop. It wasn't a quick squash match. Ava Story got plenty of heat on Rosemary. The match was really well done. I enjoyed it. And we get Mob Ali Shera defeating Caleb Conley with Sky High. Yay, whatever. Impact starts off with JB and Josh in the ring. They're basically talking about how this is the go-home show for Bound for Glory. So it's going to be, it's taped for, I think, November 2nd, I believe. And this is basically saying right before Bound for Glory, they're going to be showing clips from Triple Mania. They're going to be showing video from Canada and shows stuff from the Crash and also other assorted things as well. So basically, they're going to be like pulling a WrestleMania, and they're going to do WrestleMania 2 and have parts of the show take place from different countries. So they had us film a commercial that's going to be airing on Pop TV and Spike TV in the UK somewhere in the near future. Incidentally, if you couldn't tell by my pictures, if you're following along on Twitter, I was on the ramp for this show. And interesting. Moose defeats Lashley.
Just so he might be in the shot of the TV angles because they show the ramp more often.
I'm probably in a lot of the shots, to be honest, if you really look for me. We get Moose with Stephan Bonner in his corner, defeating Lashley with Dan Lambert by DQ. Lambert hits Moose with a trophy that looked like it was for some sort. I really couldn't tell what it was for because it wasn't never mentioned unless it was mentioned in the loud promo that we had the night before that I couldn't hear much of because the crowd wouldn't stop booing. It looked like a karate trophy or a taekwondo trophy. It kind of looked like a karate guy on the front, so we'll go with that. Here comes the American Top Team. Moose runs him off with a chair. They make the match for Bound for Glory. It's going to be 6 sides of steel. Stephan Bonner and Moose against Lashley and King Mo. And Stephan Bonner can hit a pretty mean game breaker. I'll be honest with that. We get Johnny Impact and Garza Jr. defeating Chris Adonis and Eli Drake. Johnny rolls up Adonis for the pin. Gail comes out with JB to promote the 10th anniversary of the Knockouts division and the first ever Knockouts championship win, which of course was Gail's. And this is going to be Gail's final appearance at Bound for Glory. And she's going out against Allie, Taryn Terrell, and Sienna. She's going to bring the belt back where it started, around her waist. EC3 defeated Suicide with the ECD on Explosion. So Lashley and Dan Lambert come out with American Top Team. They bash pro wrestling and pro wrestlers in general. He's going to put the company out of business. Fans are getting boring. They hate everyone here, especially Lambert. So Moose and Bonner have accepted the challenge. Actually, I read my own writing wrong. Moose and Bonner have accepted the challenge. So, yes, I read that wrong. Dan Lambert calls out Jeff Jarrett, says your family's long run in professional wrestling is over. Nuclear heat for everyone involved in this. Could nearly hear nothing that was being said.
Why do they think MMA versus... Just because it's happening in boxing doesn't mean you can just immediately take untalented fuckwits and bring them in and make it a draw. You know, I honestly, if any of them, along with Colby, are going with UFC, at the minute, I'm going to think Dana's going, fired. Can we put drugs in his system? We can. We'll do that. Fired. Put him on drugs as well. And give Lambert a lifetime ban.
I mean, I don't know what they're doing with that right now. I really don't. But I mean,
especially with what happened in MMA this week. We'll get to that. I need to get some dinner because I need to eat before I get to that.
Mob Ali Shera defeated Trevor Lee in a non-title match with Sky High on Explosion. And then we get our final matches of the night. Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary. So, really good back and forth match. Taya wins with a Northern Light suplex into a roll through into a double stomp. And then Rosemary gets the mist on Taya. She basically says Bloody Mary over and over again, pretty much talking about blood. And it's not confirmed, but it sounds like we're getting some sort of a stipulation match. And more likely, we're getting a first blood match between Taya and Rosemary. I 100% approve. JB, for some reason, actually brought up Homicide by name when he was mentioning the LAX members, and of course, no Homicide. Main event time, Eli Drake comes out with a bandana around his face. Goofy picture that I have on my Twitter right now. Teaming up with LAX, obviously EYFBO, and facing off against Johnny Impact and the Chris Brothers. Impact wins with a slingshot into a sunset flip on Santana.
GFW Impact.
So
you see why this is a stupid fucking name, everybody. Impact wins. No, never. Johnny might. Impact don't.
Notice I tried to put Johnny on most of my recaps.
Well, yeah, because confusing as fuck.
So EYFBO and the Chris Brothers brawled to the back, like very close to us. And Eli Drake and Chris Adonis started disassembling the ring. So basically doing a service to the ring crew. They removed the protective mats, they removed the canvas, and they revealed the wooden boards. Anyone that's ever put together a wrestling ring before knows exactly how fun this is. And Eli Drake ended up hitting the gravy train onto the bare boards. They celebrated. Drake held the title in the air. Security and referees checked on Johnny Impact. I put in giant letters, I guess that means he's winning the title of Bound for Glory, which probably will happen. And that was the end of the tapings. GFW will return back to, once again, for Bound for Glory, which is coming up on November 5th, which for me is the day after Halloween Horror Nights finishes. So I got a nice weekend ahead of me. So I got literally almost 7 days straight of Horror Nights and then Bound for Glory. So yes, it's going to be a very stressful time and hectic, no sleep. And then after that, the week after is La La Land in concert. So yes, lots of things to look forward to.
Wait, what?
Yeah, La La Land in concert. I'm going to Dr. Phillips to see it on November 11th.
This is a thing?
Yes, this is a thing. I have a ticket in my drawer right now saying this is a thing.
Musical? Is it a musical accompaniment to the film?
Like, that's what it looks like.
So it's like a sing-along style thing?
Kind of, but it's going to be a live band and everything. It sounds amazing. I can't wait. I'm super excited. As I probably should. As I definitely should be.
I would say that's my film of the year, but I've seen Wind River.
It's still my film of the year because I haven't actually this year. I don't know what my film of the year is. Probably still Baby Driver.
Yeah, because you saw it last year. I can get away with saying that.
Yes, you can. I cannot. So yeah, that's your Impact tapings. Back again, like I said, November 5th. Don't know what soundstage. It'll be Soundstage 19 or we go back to 21. It just kind of depends. It just really depends.
Soundstage 69.
Yeah, most excellent. So you basically have this, and the tapings will be done after that, and that's going to take us into probably the beginning of 2018, if I had to guess. Another 4 or 5 days plus of Impact tapings, but I'll talk about that later. So that's your GFW recap. And let's move on. Before we talk, actually, I think what we're going to do now is we didn't really gloss over it on Friday. Well, actually, on Monday, it was just the fact that we had a lot to talk about, and it was a long night anyway, so Ashley, is it time to talk about Southpaw Regional Wrestling?
It might be. Hang on.
I think it is. I have one thing to say right now before we get started with anything. Fandango is the greatest person in the history of ever. And USA, USA, Danny Bandana and the USA.
Yeah, we got to do it properly. Got to do it properly.
There we go.
Man, I didn't think it could get better.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the fact as well that this is the prequel. You know, we now know why Chet Chetterfield is so heartbroken about Susan.
I was always wondering who Susan was going to be, and I never in a million years thought it'd be Renee Young.
I never thought it'd be an announcer girl either.
So
I thought it was going to be something working part of the business.
Oh my God.
And again, the fact that it led to bloody Chet Chetterfield be stark bollock naked.
I just like seen his face when he just stares at. He's like, I'm not looking at this. I'm not like we got to go.
No, but it happens as well. And Cena's just doing the thing to lie, and he just glances glances like 3 or 4 times just to go, what? We gotta go.
We gotta go.
And then as well, if we're talking about the women, because there was only 2 women that appeared on this thing. Debbie Desperado. Oh my God, Natty needs to wrestle in that at Survivor Series.
That is a 100% glow gimmick without question. That is done 100% on purpose.
And the thing is, give credit to the women, but the person that steals the show in that segment is Jericho.
Chris Jericho. Clint Bobsky.
just like drooling like over like, oh yeah, baby. Like, he don't even care about the rest. And then afterwards, of course, it's like, I'm waiting for my opponent at the swamp. And Cena as Lance is just going, you only got one?
What are we doing?
The match you gotta do? Why do you only got one? Like,
I love the clip at the very end with the upbeat music basically saying Debbie Desperado is still waiting for her opponent.
Yeah, what happened, yeah. I might see if I can quickly bring up the season so I can quickly sort of rewind through it. So I know what the shit is happening. Where is it? Southpaw. I know it's somewhere in my list.
All right, we could gloss over things if you'd like. I mean, I don't have everything in order.
Well, the first episode was just like Chet Chetterfield being normal, which was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was like he's just a regular host. It's like, okay.
And then Chet Chetterfield turns into Ron Burgundy.
What, for the Old Spice stuff? Yeah, full credit to Old Spice as well for sponsoring this stuff. We kept thinking it was KFC, but somebody else stepped in and, still good. Actually, thinking about it, the show actually started with Breeze.
Oh, the banker.
Because we had the weird rap. We had the weird rap shit. Oh. We had the banker. We had John Johnson, TJ.
You mean bloody
John Cone?
John Cone. Actually, here's the thing. You mean like the rib on the Wrestle Rock Rumble?
Yes.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
And then bloody Clint Bobsky as well. And then, of course, Pelvis Wesley.
Yeah.
And I like the fact as well that because, of course, it's 3 years before, they could come up with the excuse that the wigs and everything are different. I also like the fact as well that they nearly aired this on the anniversary of when Showdown at the Swamp may have happened.
Yes,
Because
indeed.
it was August 86.
Continuity is real. And it really exists in here.
Oh, and he kept calling him Elsie as well.
LC, yeah, exactly.
and then forgot this guy. Rene Beret.
Oh, Rene Beret is great.
What I loved as well, though, was seen as like this Frenchman.
Cena is so disgusted.
How can we let this man in this company? How can we give him airtime? Like, they gave us the Statue of Liberty. That's just... And then, of course, we get to Malibu Owl's Car Emporium.
Okay, I want to talk about AJ.
Did you see the fucking pouch in AJ's pants?
Oh my god.
That was a brilliant touch.
AJ Styles as a degenerate car salesman is one of the best things ever.
No, but the bulge in his pants, it's just brilliant. It's like he's packing heat in more ways than one. Because this shit is just awesome. And then Dolph living out his dream of basically being Axl Rose.
Oh my god, yes.
What was it? And as well, of course, they called him Nikki.
They totally did. Nikki Lee Sticks.
Nikki Lee Sticks with 3 X's.
Of course.
And then we get the debut of Susan. And then it's like, I'm offering a $10,000 challenge. He's like, I accept. Like,
and then we see the graphics like, she has accepted the $10,000 challenge.
And he's like, no, it's not to you. Anybody but you. And then I don't know what the music is. What is the shit is that music with Susan and Chet at the end?
Oh my god.
What is that music? I'm going to have to Google search the lyrics of that. That was some awesome, awesome music. I want to know that exists.
I want to know why everybody's sleeping on Fandango after he does stuff like this and Fashion Peaks.
And then bloody Text Too Bad.
Yes.
Getting to ride in the fucking Pontiac or whatever it is.
Trying to get to the venue. Spending the entire duration of the 6 episodes trying to get to the building.
And then it's like, then they've got the bloody merchandise that they've got for the butchers, which is bloody Seth and Rhino being brilliant. And then it's like, they've got foam axes. It's like,
okay, here's the
Dry
thing.
Rub Dog. He was actually called Dry Rub Dog. I never noticed that.
He was. And then Frantic Frank.
I want those hatchets to exist.
Well, you know what? If you go to WWE Shop right now, they're $14.99.
Yes.
So right now, shop.www.
Fuck beach balls. It should be those foam axes.
Shop.wwe.com/Southpaw-Regional-Wrestling. And as we progress in this recap, I'm going to bring up the stuff that they have. Right now, if you'd like, you can get a Susan and Chet shirt. Yes, I want one very badly. There is the original Southpaw Regional Wrestling shirt available in regular and women's sizes. There is a mug. There is a party cup. I don't know what the deal with Red Solo Cup is now, but I guess if that's the deal. We have a Southpaw Regional Wrestling bottle sleeve. And, yes, a trucker hat for Malibu Owl's Car Emporium. And the one that I actually really want is a blue t-shirt, powder blue t-shirt with Southpaw Regional Wrestling on it, and it says, "Station wagons are the wave of the future. Malibu Al's Car Emporium, trust me." Big picture of AJ Styles doing the Bill Jacobson thumbs up. I needed this yesterday.
Then we get to after Dan Bandana in the USA.
I can't get that out of my head. He's like Sacha Baron Cohen's Straight Dave from Borat.
Yeah.
It's exactly what Dan Bandana
After
reminds
that,
me of.
we get to...
And actually, everybody knows a regional indie promotion that has a guy like Dan Bandana working for them.
Yep. And then we get to Mike.
Oh my God. Dewey Jackson.
As Adam Dung.
Oh, let's talk about that one, Fug. Adam Dung, yes.
Adam Dung. Sorry, Dung.
Yes, he was astonishing Adam Dung, and they just call it, and Renee's like, Mr. Dung. So Miz has a frizzy blonde wig, and he has absolutely zero charisma. He is the opposite of the Miz, and this is amazing. He comes out, he's kind of like got that like Sean Casey look to him. He's one of those jobbers in the 80s that's just gonna come out as like the good old white meat baby face that comes out, and his job is basically to get his ass kicked, and that's the end of it.
And then we get the breaking news that Dewey Jackson's missing.
Dewey Jackson's missing. Unfortunately, he may be missing, or he may have just went to a movie and wandered off.
Last scene at the movie, so you know.
Last scene at the movie, exactly. So you want to get into? We'll get into that right now, then, since you brought it up. Also available if you go to the Southpaw Regional Wrestling when it comes to the shirts is doing it for Dewey armbands.
Yeah.
Doing it for Dewey yellow T-shirts. So yes, you can do it for Dewey all day round with your DJ armband and you're doing it for Dewey yellow Southpaw Regional Wrestling shirt. Incidentally, the biggest item to come out of these is the video cassette collector's box of Showdown at the Swamp and Lethal Leap Year.
Oh, wow.
So Showdown at the Swamp basically says Showdown at the Swamp in the monster font on the front, and the back lists the card. The box that it comes in is a VHS of the show itself, and Lethal Leap Year has a picture of the wrestling card, good old-fashioned 80s style marquee wrestling card with a big picture of Tex Ferguson and Chad Too Bad on the front, and Big Bartholomew versus the Sea Creature, a 12-man battle royale, and also includes the Lethal Leap Year video cassette collector's box. You can get those on also a WWE shop right now.
Does it contain a video cassette?
It does not contain a video cassette. Just like
damn it.
Yeah, just like the original videos didn't actually contain serial.
I could have just done some old shit where it's like, here's some tips and tricks for the WrestleMania arcade game, and just shift out all that stock that they've still got.
Oh yeah, let's get Bret Hart to tell us about how to do superhuman mega moves again.
And then, of course, when we're in the middle of the serious bit for episode 3, Malibu Al bumps in saying, "Station wagons of the future. They are the original Midnight Meat Wagons."
Midnight Meat Wagons.
and Catamaran is... I drive one and I've got 6 kids. And
I got 6 kids, and I was like, he turned into Quagmire.
Catamaran is pissed. Catamaran is pissed as hell.
Oh my God.
And then we don't get an episode with Chet because he's getting ready for his wedding, I guess.
Correct.
So comes in bloody Clint Bobsky.
He was like, I think this was a bad idea.
And Cena and Jericho, we know they've got good chemistry, and
Oh my God,
they
yes.
did it here. Then we had the promo with the Butchers. Let's be honest. Seth thought he was Macho Man, didn't he?
Oh my God, yes.
Seth actually thought he was Macho Man.
He did well.
And Rhino was partially, I don't know, Pitbull-esque, should I say?
Very much Pitbull-esque.
And then, then we get to them still stuck somewhere in the middle of bloody Oklahoma or whatever. And Tex is like, I found a great place for us to hire when we got our women, man. It's like,
yeah, you could honestly tell if it was Sex Ferguson, it would be talking about rats. That's basically what he was saying and implying without having to say it.
So then we've got all the people that, because now there's money involved, everybody's trying to do it for Dewey. And we start off with Pelvis Wesley, except then here comes Pork Chop Jones.
Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan.
Jordan is so good here. I mean, seriously, I was feeling I was watching like a blaxploitation film. I was watching okay, there's a movie that came out about 5 years ago called Black Dynamite. And I get serious Black Dynamite vibes from this. Undercover Brother comes out to mind too, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is great, I'm not gonna lie.
And then episode 4 opens. The way it opens, it's just like, we're getting ready for Showdown at the Swamp. And all of a sudden, the pipe and the hand comes on the table. And then he's seen it as a, like space. And it's, yeah, he's been sleeping under the announce table all night because Susan's been screwing with the gardener. Oh, no. And then it's time for Ascension to be repackaged.
Oh, my God.
They're no longer the Surfer Bros or whatever it was. Beach Dudes? I can't even remember.
Dudes with attitudes.
Yes. It's the Top Guns.
And oh my God, was it Rick Victor's chest hair or was it Connor's chest hair?
I think it was Victor's.
Oh my God, that was so wrong. And they were showing themselves slowly zipping up
the bit that I love is them randomly doing all the stuff and then random kids standing in front of an American flag.
Yeah.
Footage.
That was
footage.
No, the best part is before the kids was when the zipper was getting stuck and Victor was trying to mess with it.
That was right after though. So yeah, they are the Top Guns. And then immediately afterwards they're saying, we can't call them Top Guns. Okay, the Danger Zone are here. And then by the end of the season, we found out Paramount have sued them for gimmicks.
Oh my God, I love this.
Now I'm purposefully skipping to... Because I couldn't work out who it was Debbie was from The Shadow. I wasn't entirely sure.
Right.
And then when Debbie gets interviewed, I'm like, that's Natty. And then I realize what she's wearing. And then, and Kimberly, Chris is just staring.
Yep. Unapologetically staring too.
Everything. That's the line. Everything I've ever dreamed of. I'm purposely now skipping. I'm purposely waiting for the bit where Lance is going, "Why you get one? How could you hire one? We need two." How long have we been on the air? And all this time, Chet's just broken. Tex Too Bad is still struggling to find a way home. And then, buddy, Daddy was a fall down man with a rub of the beard. That was like. And then, buddy, Mr. McElroy. I'm trying to wonder who the pilot was of that jetty.
I'd have to see
if
it.
Was anybody special?
I'd have to see it again.
You can't really see.
Is this episode 5?
No, it's the end of episode 4 when he finds the voodoo.
Oh my God.
Baron Samedi is alive and well at Southpaw. Good old Xavier and Big E. Being beautiful. And then the spit take immediately with Lance. He's like, what is this? What is going on? Yet more that they can't find their way. Oh, and then the bit when it's like Susan's doing an interview with Adam again. And he's just like gets right in front of the camera and goes, Susan! It's like you can't even see him because he's that in shade because of the lighting. Yes. And then obviously Adam just goes out with his baggage and everything because he don't want any more. And then it all falls apart by episode 6 because that's when the nakedness starts happening.
Yeah.
And then you got bloody Tex Ferguson having a case of the shits, I guess.
Yeah, I have to. Shit.
Where...
That was funny.
For God's sakes, cut to commercial when he's naked. Then we get the stare. Part of me looking at bloody Renee Beret wonders if Daniel was wearing any pants for that bit.
Maybe.
Literally just got the bloody typical French top on. And you can't see anything else. The other thing as well, they've cleverly color toned it. So when Daniel as Renee is there, the legs are really pale white.
Right.
But when he's Dan Bandana in the USA, it's clearly still white as hell, but it's not as like obviously pale. So I don't know whether they did some color twinging there. Probably did. Then of course, bloody Nikki Styx gets to do a mini performance. And then it's like, oh my God, Dewey. And then we get Clint saying Dewey. And then Adam Pearce as the cleaner. Adam Pearce just going, Dewey! And then, of course, you got Cone, Natty, Brian, and just randomly Santino.
That was great.
And then, of course, oh, look, it's Michael Hayes. And then in the coming up, some of this music, I really hope it's somewhere available on the internet and it wasn't just done by CFO $. because I fear it might be. So yeah, Chet asked Susan to marry him again that night, and she said no. To celebrate his forfeit victory, the banker sold his shares in Apple. He made $87.
$87, yes.
Let's get the quote. Danger Zone's debut was halted due to a cease and desist from Paramount Pictures. The Butchers were forced to vacate the tag titles following an E. coli outbreak. Debbie is still waiting. Malibu Out was arrested on federal racketeering conspiracy charges. Currently serving 15 years in Louisiana State Penitentiary. Lance continues to man the desk at Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Adam Doom was never heard from again.
Yeah, the voodoo had literally made him lose his voice, and he never was heard from again.
I know there's got to be some excuse that we can have, but can we have a season 3 in time for WrestleMania, please?
Please, God.
I'm not expecting another one by the end of the year, but seriously, this is the most, I don't know whether the guys behind this are the ones that are at the minute doing the Fashion Peak stuff.
I would say so.
But it feels like it. This is and the thing is, this half an hour, I think it's roughly, probably even more than that, probably closer to 40 minutes. Because it's 6 episodes this time. This 40 minutes is the best 40 minutes that I want to see, even if it's a taped show. I want to see a Southpaw Regional Wrestling mock show.
Full sale. We talked about this when it first came out. We said you need to have everyone in on the joke and dress in their favorite like clothes from that era and really do it.
And have probably Clint Bobsky and I don't know whether Chet would be right to have on the desk because he seems more like a color guy. Then again, Chet's the one that's basically there because he's the nephew of the station's owner, isn't he?
Yes.
Rather than Chetterfield. I think. Unless the owner's changed since, because I'm pretty sure the last time it was the other way around. But, yeah. This 30 plus minutes. My God.
I enjoyed this extremely much.
Oh.
So, we move on to our next segment. WCPW.
WCPW. Oh my God. Like, just because I've noticed over time, I'm just going to have to skip through these, which is pretty annoying. So, TV. Joe's apparently won't be on the throne, or won't be on the show. And he's pissed that the Diet Coke he was given was actually Diet Pepsi.
Why would you be mad? That's better.
So,
Diet Coke is trash water.
who knows? But Kirby comes out and he wants in the Magnificent Seven ladder match. And says, look, it's a 6-way match. It's only fair. And then he's like, oh, hang on. It is a Magnificent Seven briefcase. And then basically says, as long as you sign a contract, fine. And then Gracie runs out and signs the contract instead. So I guess that's it. Christ. Then we get Marty Scurll versus Ricochet, which was very good, as you'd expect. Then we had Liam Slater teaming up with Moose rather than Johnny Moss, taking on War Machine. Non-title affair. Pretty good match. War Machine getting the win. And then the Magnificent Seven ladder match. But El Ligero retained. Pretty good. But the main problem is the ending. Because the last two to climb the ladder were both heels. Because Gracie was about to win until Kirby shows up, clotheslines Gracie out, and they fight to the back. And Ligero just like has nobody challenging him, just climbs up and grabs the thing. So that's good. And then we got Joe Hendry again saying that somebody else will be invited to join the Prestige. So we get to Stacked, which of course started with the pre-show, which one started late and two started with 2/3 of no commentary or sound at all.
Really?
Gabriel Kidd had a pretty okay match with Lucky Kid. It's probably hard to tell because of the sound not being great, and I don't know whether that's even going to be fixed or anything. I'll have to see. But then the reveal for the Prestige is Joe, basically Prestige offering Will Ospreay. Basically because of the way he fought War Machine 1-on-2. And then, of course, Hendry goes, you could be under our wing. You could be the second best wrestler in the world. The first, of course, being Johnny Mundo / Johnny Impact, because he's in 4 different promotions at the same time. And you got till the end of the evening to decide. So we start with Speedball Mike Bailey versus Hiromu Takahashi. Jesus Christ. The great thing is Daryl gets a caption. But they had a great match. Sort of, time bomb from out of nowhere, but still it was good. Interesting as well, you had a guy that wrestles for DDT wrestling a New Japan guy. Probably going to be a fight now in Japan. Lethal beat Angelico and Drake in a triple threat. Well, I guess it was triple threat eliminations. Because Angelico got eliminated. Basically, Drake pinned him. So the reception that he got is basically a super kick and a lethal injection after being thrown back into the ring from Angelico. And then Lethal just says that Drake's a son of a bitch, and they shake hands. And then, of course, Drake attacks him. But apparently, that's still going on. Then we get Rampage versus Penta. Which, it's interesting that Rampage got the win with a pole driver, but again, very good match. Shorter than it should have been, but there you go. Then BT Gunn versus Primate for the hardcore title, which got done by ref stoppage. Primate never tapped out, despite the fact Gunn put on the crossface. Basically, he passed out, and it was a ref stoppage. It was okay. And, BT Gunn's obviously the new champion. That's a pretty big thing, but... Oh, by the way, when a table was brought into the ring, written on the top of it was "I am the table."
That's great.
So then we had Travis Banks versus Kushida. Again, very good. At least in ring. Throughout the show, you could tell that once again they haven't got the sound right in terms of the guys, which is a big ass shame. In all honesty. And we get Gracie versus Kirby. With Bad Bones running out, attacking Kirby from behind for a DQ. So Gracie's such a big important guy that he's hired a big important guy to basically just do his fighting for him. Are they trying to make Gracie look shit? Because that's all it does. In all honesty. So then we got the Briscoes coming out, which is interesting because right before it, or right as they come out, Jay Briscoe gets the mic and says he's got a back injury, so he can't wrestle tonight. So instead, Jay Lethal's going to be taking his place. So Jay's doing double duty. Also worth noting that there was a promo apparently earlier in the night with the Briscoes saying that they're ready. So there's a bit of continuity problems. And the thing is, despite the fact it was obviously not the Briscoes and it was sort of Lethal and Briscoe instead, they still had a damn good match with War Machine. Basically because it was under War Machine rules, because apparently that's now a thing, because they think they're the Young Bucks. But War Machine get the win and defend successfully again. And then the other Adam from What Culture is looking for Ospreay, and Ospreay doesn't want to speak to him and basically says, "I'm the last sword of Essex remaining," and then walks away. As Adam keeps going, "Are you joining? Are you joining?" So then we get to your double main event. Ricochet versus Rey Mysterio. Pretty good match. Again. Rey winning with a 619 and a frog splash. And then Marty Scurll versus Will Ospreay. Ospreay's first match back after that trip to New Zealand and Australia went interesting. And again, these guys had a great match, as you'd expect. Really good. Ospreay getting the win with a dominator. A sit-out dominator, I guess you could call it. So then afterwards, Prestige attack Marty. And they've got a T-shirt to give to Will. And Ospreay instead takes down both Travis and Gunn with Oz cutters. Henry runs away. And I think we've probably got your number one choice for who's winning the Pro Wrestling World Cup. Because it's probably going to lead then to a WCPW title feud. So that's the thing. That's what I've seen. Because obviously tonight was the round of 16 with the Pro Wrestling World Cup. I can go through the results, which we will do. One thing I do want to note, though, there were some criticism to them regarding how there aren't any women's matches on any of these shows. They've basically stated, quite rightfully, I think good basically replies. One, there isn't enough time for it on the schedule because nearly all of the week's Pro Wrestling World Cup based. And two, their champions currently in Japan wrestling for Stardom. And the women that they could bring in are either contractually obligated in Japan or contractually obligated in the UK or contractually obligated in America. Mae Young and all that. And the British girls, they don't think are a good enough level to sort of be showcased without the product probably being considered to be shit. I think it's fair explanations there. So, for the Pro Wrestling World Cup show, on the pre-show, Primate beat David Starr. I'll go through the non-tournament matches first. So, in the 6-man tag, Marty Scurll and War Machine beat Prestige. And then afterwards, Prestige attacked Marty. And then all the rest of the matches were the Pro Wrestling World Cup ones. So Mike Bailey beat Travis Banks, which may not make sense on paper, but when you take into account Travis Banks is going to be out of commission Friday and Saturday and Sunday. I mean, okay, What Culture is only Friday and Saturday. By the way, the Friday stuff I think is loaded tapings, in case you're wondering. We have Penta beating John Klinger. Hiromu Takahashi beat Lucky Kid. Ricochet beat Angelico by a submission. So I'd say so far those four are probably what you'd expect, especially with the Banks circumstances. So then Joe Coffey comes on and says, man, it's good to have a night off and not have to wrestle because, you know, Elgin missed out. Here comes Adam Blompier and goes, oh, we got a replacement. Sure, he's not Canadian, but he's available. And Joe Coffey, you're facing Joseph Connors. And would you believe it, Connors wins.
Very interesting.
Kushida beat Kenny Williams. Zack Sabre Jr. beat Jay Lethal via submission. And Ospreay beat Mysterio. And again, if you're going, why isn't Ray in any more of it? He's wrestling for Northeast Wrestling on Friday and Sunday. So that's probably why. So, I mean, I don't know what the bracket is because it's all been shifted around as in who's where. Because I haven't looked at the show to see whether it's, you know, Ospreay versus Bailey or Sabre versus Penta or anything like that. But you'll find out tomorrow with Night 2 airs on YouTube for free. As I say, Friday is probably loaded to be the next 2-3 weeks of tapings or whatever after this weekend. Which, by the way, there ain't going to be any this week, obviously, because of the Pro Wrestling World Cup. And then Saturday's the finals. And that's all I can tell you.
All right. Lucha Underground?
The Cueto Cup episode, literally, because that's what it's called. So, we get the notes. We start off with the mask versus mask match between Veneno and Sexy Star, which goes for about 20 seconds. Then Joey Ryan runs in. And he immediately runs in and takes off the mask of Veneno, revealing it's Cortez Castro. So Lucha Underground really gives a shit about respecting taking off the mask, don't they? By the way, this is AAA. So you thought they'd know about being respectful in terms of the mask shit. So yeah, they get into a brawl, which culminates in Joey low blowing him on the announce table. I don't know how it got up there. And Sexy Star's just looking like, what? Like most people are. Thankfully, they only gave that a few minutes because the other two matches were more important. Because first off, well, actually, before we get to that, we got Dario's office and Mundo enters with his manager bloke. Forgotten his name. And look, he's basically saying that he's undervalued. And, you can't be surprised. He's been getting offers from elsewhere. Oh, my God. They're actually making this a thing in the week when he's going to be debuting in other promotions. Did he know that was coming? So basically, Dario goes, basically he felt disrespected because there was the all-out brawl that was distracting everybody from him taking Ray to Slamtown last week. And he says, okay, nobody's allowed at ringside, otherwise I'll be fined. And Mundo says, well, Worldwide Underground should be allowed, shouldn't they? And he says, like, well, I said nobody. It's only fair. And Mundo ain't happy with it. And it's like, okay, is it not happening? And Dario just rightfully goes, you don't need those guys. You're the mayor of Slamtown. You can put Ray down easily. And he's he's happy, but he says, like, if anything goes wrong, I'm going. The irony is he's on Impact tomorrow. So Puma and Pentagon Dark, really good physical match. God knows how many spots and nice moves and everything aplenty. Puma, though, gets the win with a top rope Rana, or top turnbuckle Rana, I should say. Off the top on Penta, followed by the 630, and Penta gets the win. Gets the trophy from Dario. Confirms that he's in Ultima Lucha 3's main event. But, of course, who's he going to be up against? We're going to find out right now. And he leaves. Puma leaves with his trophy. And Mysterio, Mundo, very, very good. And the ending just got confusing as shit. So there was a ref bump when Ray was going for the 619. Or trying to set up the 619, I should say. So, and then Johnny gets to low blow Ray. And he goes to grab the belt. And he goes to hit him with it. Except in runs Dominic. And says, you ain't doing that. And, Johnny's just like, what are you going to do about it? And I don't know whether you could call it a spear or a pounce. But it's like he got him out of there and took him down to the ground and did a mini sort of fight with him. And then security came out. He took a swipe at a couple of security guys and then ran out and left the building. So Ray hits a 619, hits the splash. 1, 2. Dario from out of nowhere pulls the referee out. And gets in the ring and basically says, you're not the king. I am the king of the temple, not you. And slaps him. Which is never a good thing to do. So then Dario gets stuck into the ropes. He gets the 619. Ray's got his vengeance. Ray gets hit in the head with the back of the head with the title belt from Mundo. End of the world. And the striker just goes, ah, shit. And Mundo wins. It wins. And that's it. No law. No law at the end, sadly. Very law-lacking show. if I do want to put it that way. Still good, though. You had 2 very good matches and the match that didn't even happen. Which wasn't good, but, you know, it happened. I guess. So what do I move on to next? Oh, that's worrying. Okay. Owen's on mute. I'll quickly switch over then to...
UFC.
Oh, I was going to go with Ring of Honor, but okay.
UFC, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and then news.
Well, not much New Japan. Okay, we'll get to the UFC. So let's get to the biggest one that broke in the past 24 hours. Jesus Christ. John Jones has tested positive for anabolic steroids. The irony is, it's an anabolic steroid by the name of Turinabol, which was used by like the East Germans in the Olympics in the 60s and 70s. This is an old one. Apparently, he stripped. He tested positive. I think it was like the day before the fight. The positive test was taken after the weigh-in, but before the fight. So it was in between the two. So obviously, he's been stripped of the title. And of course, if he is found to be positive again, that might be him out for 4 years, which means, yeah, that ain't happening. And also, that Brock stuff, it's off. That ain't happening. So there has been some updates to this. John Jones's camp put a statement out saying, quote, "We're all at a complete loss for words. John, his trainers, his nutritionists, and the entire camp have worked tirelessly and meticulously the past 12 months to avoid this exact situation. We're having samples tested again to determine the validity of source of contamination. John's crushed by this news, and we're doing whatever we can as a team to support him." And then also, Cormier's said, quote, "It's hard to find words to describe how I feel. I'm disappointed. It's very emotional. We as athletes are entitled to due process, and I will refrain from saying much until we know more. But in my mind, on that day, on July 29th, I competed and lost. I thought John Jones was the better man. I don't know what to think anymore. I can't believe we're going through all this again. We'll see what happens. Thanks to all the fans who supported me. I love you very much." And Dana's basically said that they were going to be doing Jones versus Stipe Miocic, possibly as soon as 218 towards the end of the year, if it wasn't basically for Jones being suspended. Mark Hunt's also blasted John on Instagram, basically saying that Cormier should now get all the money that Jones had. It is somewhat a fair point considering the shit that happened. God. So on top of all that, Ryan Bader, for the news from the past week, Ryan Bader will be defending the light heavyweight title against Linton Vassell in the main event of the show on November 3rd in State College, Pennsylvania. Former Penn State wrestlers Ed Ruth and Phil Davis will also be on that show. So with the Mayweather-McGregor thing, Sean Porter was supposed to be fighting Thomas Delorme on the undercard, but he pulled out the fight apparently due to personal reasons regarding a death in the family. So Jordanis Uglas is facing Delorme instead. Verdum versus Lewis has been added to the October 7th pay-per-view in Vegas. December 16th show in Winnipeg now has Antonio Nogueira versus Jared Cannonier, along with Olawale Bangbose versus Alessandro De Chirico. Nemji Saki, the brother of Gokhan Saki, was arrested in Dubai, charged with trafficking drugs into Australia, which is an interesting one. Also, this isn't entirely UFC, but I thought it would be best to fit here. The Amateur Wrestling World Championships are happening in France this week. There's going to be some selective stuff shown starting. Well, it's already on now, but there's some stuff. There was some stuff on today, but there's stuff Thursday, Friday, and Sunday by the looks of it at various times. All on the NBC Sports Network, if you've got that. So, also on the drugs front, Junior Dos Santos has been flagged for a potential USADA violation out of competition, which means that he's now out of UFC 215, which is coming up in a few weeks. So that's good. A match that could determine Tyron Woodley's next opponent between Stephen Thompson and Jorge Masvidal has now been added to the October 7th pay-per-view. Roy McDonald says he probably won't be fighting again in Bellator in 2017. Bigfoot Silver's going into kickboxing. He's going to be at Glory for some shows. The UFC Fight Night in Poland on October 21st has just added Artem Lobov versus Andre Fili. And UFC 218 on December 2nd is Felicia Herrig versus Courtney Casey. That's been confirmed. Apparently, the Dos Santos failure was for hydrochlorothiazide, which is a banned diuretic. So they're looking into his supplements as to, whether it got in that way. Andrei Arlovsky faces Junior Albini for the UFC Fight Night in Norfolk, Virginia on November the 11th. Also, for the Sao Paulo, Brazil show on October 28th, the undefeated Jared Brooks faces the undefeated Dilson Alcantara. Dr. Bene Omalu, the guys whose story was adapted into Concussion. Remember that film, Owen? Did you watch? You must have watched that one, didn't you?
Of course I watched Concussion. It was an Oscar contender, remember?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Basically, Dr. Bennett has basically said he considers letting young children playing tackle football as child abuse because of the studies of concussions that he's done.
Wow.
Then a big one. Brian Stan, probably the number one announcer in UFC right now. Well, I shouldn't say right now, because he announced on Helwani's MMA show on Monday that he's leaving the UFC effective immediately. He was offered an opportunity to be COO at a growing real estate firm and will be going to Northwestern Kellogg University to get his MBA. So that's some crazy shit going down there. Marcin Held will be facing Timu Pakalen at the Poland show on October 21st. Sean O'Malley facing Terrion Ware for the Ultimate Fighter 26 finale in Vegas towards the end of the year. Court McGee versus Sean Strickland for the Norfolk, Virginia show. And the UFC Fight Night Rotterdam show next week. Nick Hine is out. He was going to face Zabit Magomedov-Sharipov, and they're currently trying to look for an replacement at the minute. So we'll have to see. I don't think there's anything new in the notes from today, from what I can see. Oh, Holly Holm is open to negotiating for a matchup against Chris Cyborg.
Ashley.
Yeah?
Quick, we have Christian M back in chat. He says, do you think the female division will improve? Is it equal to the ATP in tennis? The level of women is bad. The men's competitive.
I don't know. To be honest, and I might as well mention it here. Again, well, actually, let's be fair. we had our very first women's match on the Dana Picky Thing. The Dana Tuesday Night Fight stuff. They actually had a women's bout, I think, last week, and they've got another one coming up this coming Tuesday. So out of the 40 fights, only 2 of them have had women, and neither of them have been signed. So, you know, Dana isn't sexist or anything. It also doesn't help by default they have to be the opening match on the card, apparently, for both of them. I think the women's division has suffered ever since Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I could see that.
At least if you're going on the trying to think even what weight it is that they're at, the bantamweight level. It really isn't that good because the title has been flip-flopping all the time. To me, the division that's really good with the women is the strawweight. Because Joanna's been a very good champion, and it's not like she's been trying to get knockout victories either. I think she might have had 1 or 2, but some of the matches she's been having has been grueling. The matches that she's been having with her opponents have been grueling, so I think that's the strongest. The flyweight one, the problem with the flyweight is you're getting women from the bantamweight moving into it because there ain't enough. They haven't signed any people to it. They're just asking people to lose less weight or lose more weight or whatever to be competitive in it, and that's why that's flip-flopped. You know, with Holly being the number 1 contender, then the Dutch woman winning. Then she buggered off because she was scared of fighting Cyborg. And if she says, "Oh, it's because because she was injured," how come she's fighting on the Rotterdam show next week? She didn't want to face Cyborg, and the full credit to I can't remember her name that came in to face Cyborg from Strike Force and Invicta and everything. She did a really good job. So I honestly think, and there are reports that there is going to be another women's weight being added in, and to be honest, this is UFC not realizing that too many belts spoil the broth. In all honesty,
right?
The women's division is looking for the Conor McGregor style figure, for sure. I think you have the closest I can think of, and it's not because she's Celtic, but I'd say Joanne Calderwood is very free to speak her mind. And to some extent, Cyborg is, but with Cyborg, you sort of partially wonder whether she's the right face.
Yeah. Christian said something about Ronda, someone like her is missing because there's no one really with personality.
Yeah. You're privileged to have like Jones and Cormier with their passionate stuff that you had earlier on, and McGregor and the Diaz's, but then the Diaz's caused trouble, so that's sort of like a sort of blessing in disguise. And then you had the 2 guys that got into a fight on the bloody stage back when they did the setting up the matches a few months back. I think Joanna's possibly the closest overall, just in terms of being a fighting champion and everything. But I can certainly see that if they get the right people in, I can see it improving.
Okay.
In all honesty. So with the Tuesday night fights, it's worth noting that the So the winners were Jordan Espinoza beating Nick Urso, Mike Santiago beating Mark Cherico, Joby Sanchez victorious over JP Baez, Benito Lopez beating Stephen Peterson, and Kennedy Nelshru beating Anton Burzen. Lopez and Sanchez got the contracts. It's worth noting, though, that Sanchez lost, I think. No, he won, sorry, on week 1, but didn't get the contract. So came back 6 weeks later, despite the fact that I think that match went all 3 rounds. This one, he got a TKO midway through the second. But yeah, that guy's wrestled, fought, I should say, twice in the space of just under 2 months. I wouldn't say that's recommended, but he's got a UFC contract, which is what he's been looking for. Despite having wrestled in the UFC, or I should say fought, I keep saying wrestled, fought in the UFC quite a few number of times in the past, like 2015 and all that. So, congrats to him, certainly making it back in. And then that's it, because I guess we could go through the boxing card, because that's the closest thing to MMA, considering Connor's in it. So they've announced... I am interested in the very first match, though, that's going to be on the Fox prelims. That is a British bout. A British boxer making her debut. Savannah Marshall, who's been on the independents. I think she got a bronze medal in the 2016 World Championships when they happened. I don't know, it was this year or whatever. But she's making her debut as part of this undercard. So, good on her. Problem is, because it's the opening match, there's probably nobody going to be watching it. Apart from possibly the people in the cinemas and whatever around me. Because I'm guessing the British TV will be trying to show it. So that's the women's super middleweight. Then in the men's super middleweight, well, I should say that's the only women's bout, really. We've got Kevin Newman versus Antonio Hernandez. Juan Heraldez versus Jose Miguel Borrego in the welterweights. And then another welterweight bout with Thomas Glorme versus Yordenis Ugas. Then for the main card, your 4 matches. At the cruiserweight level, we've got Andrew Tabiti versus Steve Cunningham for the vacant USBA cruiserweight title. Then we got Britain's Nathan Cleverly taking on Sweden's Badu Jack for the WBA light heavyweight title. Then Javonta Davis takes on Francisco Fonseca for the IBF junior lightweight belt. And then the money fight, as it's Money versus McGregor at super welterweight division weights of 154 pounds. So if anybody doesn't make the weigh-in, I think it's Friday, maybe Thursday, I don't know. But yeah, that's your Saturday sorted. But wait, there's more, but we'll get to that. Probably. So Ring of Honor, not too bad a show, in all honesty. Starting off with Trent Bretter and Chuck Taylor beating Coast to Coast. Caprice Coleman actually on commentary for this one, apparently. Best Friends getting the win with the Jerry Lynn style pole driver. Apparently that's what it's called. Interesting title. So then we got a Jay Lethal promo saying how Silas and Bruiser hospitalized him. And then, of course, he gets attacked immediately by both of them. So it's a nice touch, really, that it's like, if they're backstage together, of course they're going to attack him again. So then we had Jay Briscoe beat Matt Taven. Pretty good. And basically, Orion came in to sort of interfere. Took his took his boot off, his walking boot and whatever, to reveal that he's healed from his injury. So yeah, I think it was a DQ technically, but it looks as if that means we're getting Briscoes and Bully Ray versus what were they called again? The Kingdom?
Yeah, the Kingdom.
Kingdom 2.0. And then Cody says all the names that he's been through to defend the belt and, saying that he's a fighting champ. And then we get Colt and Tempora Boys versus Dalton and the Boys. Or his boys, I guess. Dalton and the Boys winning with the bangarang. And then afterwards, Dalton said, how despite all the issues he had with Colt, he still likes him. And he's like, have I earned your respect yet? And Cabana extended his hand and faked a knee. And, it seems as if Colt's accepted that he's not bad. And he's going to be on commentary. I approve. I just generally approve. So in terms of the shows happening this past week, we covered the London results, didn't we?
We covered all the taping results except for after
the Edinburgh stuff. So we had Kenny King winning a triple threat over Josh Bodom and Colt Cabana, which was the surprise addition. But it's Edinburgh. He's going to be there, man. Obviously. Ultimo Guerrero and Ray Bucanero beat the Briscoes. Bully Ray beat Evil via DQ when Evil used Bully's chain as a weapon. Because everything is evil. LIJ beat Kushida, Mystistico, and Titan with Naito winning with a Destino. Then Bullet Club, the Hung Bucks, if you will, beat Dalton and the Boys to get the 6-man tag belts. So they're dual 6-man and 4-man champs, I guess.
Yep.
Does that mean they're 10-man champs by default? Who knows? Then, in what we thought was the main event, Marty Scurll and Cody beat the Addiction. So, the main event was the Edinburgh Street Fight with Silas Young beating Jay Lethal. It's worth noting, as soon as the bell rang, 90% of the people fled for the doors because they were expecting the show to finish earlier than it did. That's always an issue. Always not a very good issue. So, it doesn't stop there because this coming, I think it's Saturday? Yeah. Saturday at Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
Ring of Honor returns for the TV tapings. Match is already confirmed. We've got with a winner getting a shot later that night. We've got Marty Scurll one-on-one with Rocky Romero. And Cheeseburger versus Will Ferreira. Those are the only matches confirmed, but the people that are going to be there are Cody, the Bucks, War Machine, Bully Ray, the Briscoes, the Machine Guns, Lethal, Page, Kenny King, the Gorillas of Fuck, Silas Young, the Beer City Bruiser, Jay White, Josh Woods, Jonathan Gresham, Flip Gordon, the Tempora Boys, Vinny and TK from the Kingdom, Shane Taylor and Punishment Martinez. And as usual, there will be a special meet and greet happening before the show, featuring Cody, the Bucks, Marty, Gorillas, Gresham, Deonna Purrazzo, and Brandy Rhodes. And in the intermission, Bully Ray will be doing stuff as well. As usual, it's $20 for the singles wrestlers and $30 for the tag teams. And I think that's it, at least in terms of Ring of Honor.
Okay. New Japan?
Not much, just and we sort of did run through this quickly anyway. Back on can't even remember. Sunday when it came in, the question, or was it Saturday?
I believe it was Saturday.
Saturday was when we had the Q&A, or was it Monday? I don't know.
It was Saturday.
So the big shows, at least with title matches on that we know of, we got Fukushima on September the 10th, featuring Suzuki versus Elgin for the Never Openweight title. Evil, Sanada, and Bushi defend the 6-man tag belts against Okada, Yano, and Romero. And War Machine, the Gorillas, and KES in a triple threat for the tag belts. Then Hiroshima on the 16th has Tanahashi versus Sabre Jr. for the Intercontinental title. Kushida taking on El Desperado for the junior title. Quick look. And then the same three teams from the previous tag title match having another title match again. They're also having another triple threat again for the titles on September 24th. Also, on that one, you'll be having Kenny Omega defending the US title against Juice Robinson. The key thing to note, though, is there's a couple of wrestlers that are not wrestling on that Kobe show on the 24th.
Okay.
Because New Japan today put out in a statement after the Ehime show, I believe it is.
Okay.
On the 16th or whatever, 17th. Suzuki, Minoru, and Kushida will not be available due to their ROH excursions. So, by the sounds of it, Kushida and Minoru Suzuki are going to be wrestling on the Death Before Dishonor weekend. The key thing to note about Suzuki, that'd be his first match in America in 25 years.
Wow.
I can't wait for him to beat the shit out of the Ring of Honor Young Boys.
That's a good bet.
Cheeseburger's gonna get murdered. And then also King of Pro Wrestling on October 9th. We've got Okada versus Evil for the heavyweight belt, and Naito defending the Tokyo Dome match briefcase against Ishii. So there you go.
Okay. Now we go on to the news.
So, one thing's quickly worth mentioning. They've just started the Stardom, I guess, G1 tournament. Going over various points through to like mid-September. The key thing to note about some of it as well is some of the matches have had to be moved because of who's in it and everything. Basically because they're also going to be busy a few days later in Vegas for the Mae Young Classic. So I think the date in question is September the 10th. Because I don't know whether you can check. Oh, I'll probably check here because I can have a look. I think the 12th is when the Mae Young finals are.
Yeah.
So 2 days before, Viper's going to be taking on Hiromi Mimura. Kaylee Ray is facing Mande Leon. And by the looks of it, Toni Storm isn't wrestling. So I guess she's having her match at another point in the other blocks and everything. But yeah, that started, I think, actually this past weekend with the opening matches on the 19th and the 20th. So then there's another weekend of shows coming up this weekend in Osaka, Hanamatsu. Then the following weekend in Yokohama and Niigata. Then only one show in Tokyo, but I think that's a Kurikan Hall one. Then the final weekend in Takuoka, and then back in Tokyo on the 18th of September. The thing is, they'll all be wrestling in their blocks, their final matches. The interesting twist, however, though, is whichever two win then have to wrestle at the end of a night as well to determine who is the 5-star Grand Prix champion. I guess you can call it that. And that September 18th show is also at Kurikan Hall. And like every year since its inception, a la G1, whoever wins the Grand Prix will be given a guaranteed shot at the World of Stardom champion at some point. So it's not for a specific show. It's just they can basically cash it in if they want at any time. Have a quick look through Dave's stuff. Is there anything that we haven't really talked about? That's all NXT stuff, which is already happened, really. Oh, that's interesting. So, you know, we said that AAA are doing a show in Kurikan Hall on October the 10th.
Yeah.
Lucha Underground's doing a Kurikan Hall show on October 9th. That's weird.
Wow.
So apparently... Oh, that's interesting. The Onita trio... Remember the Onita versus Tremont match that became a trios match? And we all thought it was because of Tremont being hospitalized? No! Apparently, Onita was he injured his leg somehow. So he didn't want to do a singles match. So they switched it on the fly at the end. But, you know, the crowd liked it anyway because it's Onita. And this guy's, you know, retired God knows how many times. Interesting, though, that I've seen Matt Tremont recently saying that the Nick Gage thing that he was involved with last weekend was his last ever death match tournament. So I think he's hanging up the death match thing as well.
Well, that's good.
See if there's anything there. Don't think there is. I mean, there's probably a lot in there, but there's a lot to go through, really. Oh, wow. That's interesting. It was JoJo's sister that passed. But also, JoJo is the daughter of Jose Offerman, who was a big name baseball star between 1990 and 2005. So she's got a sporting, certainly, history and background. Something I actually didn't know. In terms of Dave's ratings, Tanahashi and Naito got 5 stars. Omega and Okada 3 got 6 stars. And Omega versus Naito got 5 3/4. Because reasons. So we've now had Chuck Mambo of Progress Wrestling added to the Rey de Voladora's tournament for King of Trios. Nothing else, from what I can tell, added yet. Oh no, Los Ice Creams are going to be part of a 10-team, overly long tag team gauntlet match. So that should be fun. Triple H has basically said that WWE's biggest competition is NXT. After seeing this weekend, yes,
Agreed.
it is. WWE 2K18, the last couple of years has had music curation from various people. This year it's Dwayne. Dwayne's picked some songs, so there's some Bruno Mars, some Eazy-E, and Kanye West along with others in. So that seems interesting. Jonathan Gresham married, technically, Jordan Grace this past week. Basically, Nikita Koloff was officiating it, but the thing is, he isn't ordained anymore because he let his license expire, but they do plan to do something more official and legal in the future. Jeff Cobb has been added to the MLW One Shot Show on the 5th of October, which is going to be on... can't remember what it was. Pivot Share. That's I remember the provider. They've also announced that Tony Schiavone's going to be doing commentary for that event. Holy shit. Holy shit. Also regarding this issue, this week Beyond Wrestling and Preston City Wrestling have announced that they're signing up with Powerbomb.tv to do live streams. Both of those were part of Flow Slam and aren't anymore. And apparently there is a little concern, for at least from people that are obviously interested in Flow Slam being a success, that quite a few big promotions that were theirs are now going somewhere else. Making you wonder how feasible the $30 a month deal actually is. We mentioned that the NXT guys had a heck of a lot of trouble getting into New York. How their flight was delayed for 13 hours. It was a bit crazy. Oh, remember Davey Richards and how he was finished with wrestling?
He's going to Evolve.
Yeah. And Defy, I think, a few weeks before that as well.
Right.
So, there you go. GFW have announced a global wrestling network streaming service, apparently. That will be available worldwide with Impact airing on it for free. So who knows? There's the low-key stuff. There's the New Japan stuff. Leo Rush is officially signed with the company. They actually put an article with Topanga. Apparently, she was the last person to buy his independent gear. Somehow, I don't think so. Asuka's injury might put her out for 6 to 8 weeks. But as you said, it looks like they're basically just saying she'll be back and they're not vacating the title.
That's what it looks like.
There's an update on the Chris Amon versus CM Punk lawsuit. Basically, Punk side tried to get WWE records and a Connecticut judge approved the request after amending the first one, including looking for ties of WWE funding the case. The judges ruled that both sides should split the bill, and with the bill being $240,000 as it stands, Punk wasn't happy and felt, 1/3 of that should, and the time and money to find all the records, so he shouldn't pay as much. So we'll have to see. John Cena and Kevin Hart are being eyed for a Knight Rider movie.
Why?
Well, no, I get John Cena being David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, that's fine.
But apparently Kevin Hart is going to be Kit.
That's your... Oh, God, why?
Yes. Now this is pretty fucking incredible. Moro's doing the TV tapings tomorrow, along with obviously Mayweather and McGregor, despite having minor surgery this week for a spider bite. Holy shit. He's Spider-Man. He's actually Spider-Man. The domestic violence charges against Paige have been dropped. Basically because Alberto didn't want to press charges. Some sad news. Dallas McCarver Dana Brooks' boyfriend passed away on early Tuesday morning at the age of only 26. Apparently, he choked on food and was just found unconscious shortly after midnight. Was then transported to hospital, was pronounced dead. Yeah, so I don't think you should be seeing Dana for the next week or two.
No, probably not.
Tony Schiavone will actually be doing commentary with Rich Pacini, aka Rich Brennan. That's an interesting combo, I will say. And Big Cass's injury is a torn ACL, which means he's out for probably around 9 months.
Oh, boy.
So he's missed WrestleMania.
He's an afterthought now.
I mean, if he's back in time for WrestleMania, I'm telling you now, he's winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and that's when they try and start again the push.
Well, they fire him.
I don't think. Well, I guess if he isn't there, he can't do the political thing, so they might actually give him a chance. We'll have to see. We've got another 30+ names announced for 2K18. Tell me if there's any that you're interested in, Owen.
Okay.
So we got Goldberg, Earthquake.
Very nice. Which version of Earthquake?
Just as Earthquake.
Okay.
I'm guessing from that probably singles Earthquake that was like against Hogan, maybe.
If it's Blue Gear Earthquake, I'm fine. If it's Typhoon and Earthquake, Natural Disasters Earthquake, maybe not so much.
What if it's him from the Oddities?
It'd be Golga, it wouldn't be Earthquake.
Golga. Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Okay.
Fuck the Laddie Zabisco.
Okay.
Brutus Beefcake.
That's awesome.
Greg the Hammer Valentine.
That's also awesome.
Edge. Godfather. Eddie Guerrero. I approve. Daniel Bryan. Maurice. Naomi. Sasha Banks. Bailey.
Don't care.
Ivory.
Don't care.
Natalia. Mickey James. Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Tamina. And Ember Moon.
Nice.
Then we've got Kerry and Kevin Von Erich.
That's cool. Please tell me the Freebirds are in this game.
The Usos. Haven't we already established the Freebirds in from the previous? Hang on, I'll have a look because I've got the list.
Yeah, we did. Never mind. Good did.
The Hype Bros.
Oh, just Zack Ryder.
Nakamura.
Very nice.
AJ.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode, of which if you go to at least IGN's thing, they've got the actual game entrance for him. It's nearly as glorious as the bloody real thing. Miz, Roman, Rock, Triple H, and Brock. They've already sort of unofficially confirmed, obviously Seth because he's on the cover, Kurt because he's the pre-order bonus, Cena and Orton.
All right.
Of course, you've got 3 different versions of Cena. You got the current one, but then also, interestingly, WrestleMania 26 and the One Night Stand 2006 Cena. That's a bit of a random one. And Rob Van Dam and Batista are also in the deluxe collector's editions as well. Then the big one, which caught me off guard today. Triple Mania is going to be on Twitch, everybody.
Yep.
In Spanish and English. Twitch.tv/Lucha Libre AAA in all one block will be the Spanish feed. And then Lucha Libre AAA _EN will be the English feed. The pre-show marathon starts later today at 3 p.m. Pacific, so that's of about 6 Eastern. And then the live broadcast will start from 5 till 10 Pacific on Saturday itself.
Ashley,
During this, yes?
I got a couple questions. Finish what you were saying first, though.
So, yeah, from what I can tell, they're actually doing a pre-show as well for 2 hours before the 5 p.m. start.
Wow.
With a best of Triple Mania feed. But the marathon itself is basically going for 48 hours and whatever. Sort of showcasing, I guess, the best of AAA over the years. I don't know, because of course it is the 25th anniversary or the 25th annual show, at least under the Triple Mania banner. So there will also be special emotes as well in chat and whatever. Various wrestlers and enabling them to show their support in chat. So that means that the wrestler's going to be in chat a la bloody Wrestle Circus. That's interesting. But yeah, this is really interesting. Yet another promotion doing stuff on Twitch. Hood Slam's been on there a bit. Progress has been doing some stuff. Obviously, What Culture's got up their stuff there. And now AAA. The deal with the show, from what I can tell, is that they're going to have everything up to the main event before the Mayweather-McGregor fight, because at least in Mexico, the network that shows Triple Mania is also showing the Mayweather-McGregor fight. So the idea is they're using the wrestling show to build up to Mayweather-McGregor, and then they're using that fight to build up to the main event, which will follow after that, which will be the mask versus mask match, which we'll get to in a minute. So some questionable sort of stuff going on there. But yeah, that's I don't know whether me and Owen are going to catch it. We won't do any live coverage, but we might laugh our asses off, because if it's like any of the previous AAA's, Owen, we might be going, God, this is a terrible show. Technical difficulties for the past 2 years. Matches that have been absolutely shit. If you vaguely remember from 2 years ago, I don't even know if we were doing this stuff then. I can't even remember. I guess we were, because of WrestleMania 31. We would have been. Yeah, back at 23, the match between Mysterio and Mystico sort of never happened. And then it got built to a mask versus mask match for November, which then never happened because Mystico left the company because he fell out. So it's like confusing and stupid as shit. So that's a fucking mess. But yeah, that's Triple Mania. Could be fun. We'll preview it in a minute. So the questions in the chat.
Chat questions. So why did they not have? Hyro says, why did they not have a big return for Shelton Benjamin?
I don't know. That's just the way they did it. If you listen, the crowd did pop, but it was always going to be different to an in-arena pop compared to a backstage thing where you're trying to get the sound right.
Right.
You don't want to make it too loud. So I think that was just circumstances, which is a shame because, I was hyped to see Shelton back.
All right. And we have one SSS is saying James Corden is Tyson Kidd retired.
In ring, probably.
Yeah.
I think he's doing backstage work now, more than likely.
You're correct.
Which is probably what they're having to do with him, because if they let him go, he could sue them.
Big time.
Smajo!
Also correct. I was also wondering if I should watch Dragon Gate. Is it better than Pro Wrestling Neuro?
Well, the storyline that they've got at the minute with the whole teams versus teams stuff is a bit confusing and complicated. Considering Noah had that great match with Cage a few weeks back, I wouldn't say don't watch. I'd say I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not trying to say watch both, but keep an ear out for whether people are saying, you know, this match is good or this isn't, and then dip your toe in that way. Normally, the Kurikan Hall shows are obviously their biggest ones if they're not the pay-per-views. Or not the pay-per-views, but like their big shows, like the one they just had at Kobe, the Kobe Pro Wrestling Festival. Certainly, if you get the right matches, which is mainly single stuff, Dragon Gate Japan is probably worth watching. Because at the minute they've got the storyline going on for at least another few weeks of whoever the two worst teams are then have to face each other, and whoever loses must disband. It's always complicated. It's easier when it's like, here are the trios titles, here's the tag titles, here's the junior title, here's the title that's decided by audience approval, even whether you lose the match or not. Here's the world title. You know, all that sort of stuff. That's normally when they're at their strongest, I would say. So I'd say at the minute, stick with Noah, but when they start transferring back into feuds for the actual titles properly, and that being the main focus rather than this teams versus teams, and the worst teams then have to go into sort of a playoff to survive, I'd say wait until that's finished, which I think is a few weeks. I think it's like mid-September.
Okay.
Scroll through. So quickly, I'll run through some of the results. So Rev Pro Summer Sizzler had Martin Stone beat Eddie Dennis. Bully Ray did a Sandman style entrance. So his fight with Shea Samuels became a street fight. Bully Ray won that. Then Rob Leas attacked both of them. And then Samuels and Ray basically double teamed Leas. That's leading to a match between Leas and Samuels, I believe, for this Portsmouth show that's coming this weekend, which I'll sort of preview in a minute. Zach Gibson beat Dalton Castle. The Briscoes beat All Day Swerve of Smile and Strickland. Jay White beat Travis Banks. Josh Bodon retained the Cruiserweight title over Jushin Thunder Liger. Zack Sabre Jr. retained the Heavyweight title against Chris Brooks via referee stoppage. And Marty Scurll beat Rey Mysterio. Interestingly, Marty did manage to remove Ray's mask. And afterwards, Marty gave Ray props, and then Ray brought Marty back into the ring so he could get his praise and then put over the British scene and the future of the sport, which is nice. In terms of PWX stuff, Anthony Henry retained the world title. Darius Lockhart beat Elijah Evans to win the PWX Innovative TV title as well. And Chip Day beat Ethan Case and Billy Brash to get the first spot in the X16 tournament. Sorry I haven't gone through all of them, but because of the way we're running on time, I don't want to go too long. Owen's got work.
Yeah, I have to be up in 4 hours. Do you think Magnus would go to NXT since he's not in GFW, or will he fit in with the UK division?
Part of me wonders. Part of me thinks he might be happy enough. Part part of me thinks he's going to probably be happy enough doing whatever he's doing now. I mean, he could get signed up by the E. I'm not sure. I don't know whether he'd want to go to NXT. Yeah, it sort of depends. I mean, the family's already busy anyway, considering Mickey. So,
Right.
somebody's got to look after the kid.
Makes sense.
Also, I noticed that one SSS put in, did Jay Lethal get an offer from WWE? I think he did, but the problem that the Ring of Honor guys have is the whole WWE can't offer a contract until after their deals have expired. That's why it took so long for Adam Cole to show up. Because they had to let the 90 days pass from when he last showed up on television before they could even approach him officially. They could do it unofficially, once he'd finished up his stuff with Ring of Honor, hence why he debuted in such a way this week. And probably it's, God, I really hope he just comes out to his Ring of Honor music on the bloody... Make it look like a Ring of Honor invasion. That makes sense, because Leo Rush was in Ring of Honor.
Yep.
Boom. So the freelance wrestling show, Stevie Fierce retained the world title against GPA. And also Team Beta won the freelance tag titles, I think, off Zero Gravity. Match also featuring Superiority Complex and Brew Baker and Durst and the other competitors. Sorry that I'm rushing through the title matches for that one. Oh, I never got the notes for House of Glory. So who knows? I apologize for that one, guys. You'll probably find them somewhere on the internet. For the Beyond Wrestling women's show, show, I guess. Deonna Purrazzo beat Awesome Kong in the main event. Probably the only one that I'll mention, at least at the minute. But, from what I've heard, that's been a pretty good show, which you can catch on... I think it's up on Beyond's YouTube page via their subscription service. And obviously the Beyond stuff and WWR stuff will be on Powerbomb.tv, starting from their next show in late September. AIW... I guess the things of note, Dominic Guarini beat Maxwell Jacob Friedman via submission. But then afterwards, Guarini laid a challenge down for Filthy Tom Lawler for their September 15th show. Which, by the way, they've announced that basically, unless there's somebody that gives them a lot of investment, they won't be doing another show for a few months after September. So they can't afford to do the monthly shows anymore, by the looks of it. That's a shame. Also, in another case of more injuries, Trey Lamar, Garrison King, and Chase Oliver beat Jonathan Wolf, Malcolm Monroe III, and Myron Reed. Basically, Chase suffered an injury and had to be removed pretty early on, but apparently he's okay, which is good to hear. And the main event, Joey Janela and Glacier, ended in a no contest because Joey Janela snapped his finger on a boxing machine. So we never got the match, really, which is rather annoying. So this weekend, first up, we'll go with the Triple Mania stuff. So we've got the Lava Lagoria finals, which is basically two people that basically want to wrestle for AAA getting a chance. They still haven't established what's going on there. Big Mami Dinastia, Estrella Divina, and Mascala de Bronze take on Hernandez, La Hiedra, Mamba, and Mini Psycho Clown. Sexy Star defends the Reina de Reinas title against Lady Shana, Aiko Hamada, and Rosemary. Yay, Courtney Rush goes to Mexico. Dark Werther and Dark Scoria defend their AAA World Tag Belts against Aerostar and Drago, Monster Clown and Murder Clown, and a GFW team. I don't know who that is. There doesn't seem to be any details, I believe, yet on who that is. Then the Tornado Triple Mania 25. Apparently, it's a trios one this time. But it's a Lumberjack trios one because we've got Lumberjacks being Los Vatos Locos and Los Payasos as the Lumberjacks. So we've got Team La Parca, which is La Parca, Bengala, and Argenis. Team Relevos and Crayabla, which is Fabi Apache, the Australian Suicide, and Pimpinella Escalata. X-AAA, comprising of Peretta Morgan, Heavy Metal, and Villano 4. Los OGTs, which is Averno, Superfly, and Chessman. Los Guapos of Scorpio Jr., Zumbido, and Dickenis. Team GFW, which is Lashley, Moose, and Jeff Jarrett. Are you fucking kidding? Los Vipers of Psicosis, Hysteria, and Maniaco. The Mexican powers of Crazy Boy, Nino Hamburgeressa, and Lancelot. Los Pelas del Mal of Joe Leader, Halloween, and Mr. Aguila. And the Legends, the La Leandas of El Intocable, Blue Demon Jr., and Luchador Suppressor. Then Johnny Mundo defends the AAA Mega title, the AAA Latin America title, and the AAA World Cruiserweight title against El Hijo de Fantasma and Tejano Jr. in a triple threat TLC match. Then we got Pagano taking on El Macias in a street fight. And then the big one, Psycho Clown versus Dr. Wagner Jr. 2 out of 3 falls, Lucha de Apuesta. So it's mask versus mask. Somebody is getting unmasked. The last time this happened, it was CMLL, and it led to Andre Cien Almas. Pretty much literally. Because when everybody saw how handsome he was, WWE said, we want you. So are we hoping that Psycho Clown's ugly then? And that they won't be interested in him? Or is the unthinkable going to happen and is Dr. Wagner going to unmask? After all these years. Quickly going to the chat. The Enzo 205 live thing. I don't think it's comedic is the right word. It might make people watch. I think we mentioned it sort of earlier on. You probably joined us late, one SSS. But basically, I think if it's right, then people are going to be watching 205 live now because Enzo's on it. Comedic, who knows? With the Shikara news, there is nothing until King of Trios next weekend, which I'm going to the last night of. So we'll preview it next week. You know, it's probably their biggest show of the year. So the fact it's in the UK, I'm still amazed by. And then since Naito, will we see Naito face Okada? As long as they both keep their belts and briefcases, that's going to be your main event for Wrestle Kingdom 11. And I wouldn't object to that. So Rev Pro has got a show in Portsmouth this Sunday featuring Jack Swagger versus... I'm pretty sure Jack Swagger isn't facing Ospreay because Ospreay is facing Zack Sabre Jr. So I typed that down wrong. I'm an idiot. Mike Bailey's also taking on Jeff Cobb as well from what I can see here. There's other matches as well. PCW has its Girl Power 2 show. I think there's not many tickets available, if at all. Mainly a lot of local, or perhaps not local, but relatively unknown women. We've got Sami Zayn versus Debbie Sharp, Lucy Cole versus Eliza Rue, Lauren versus Shax, Nightshade versus Shakara. Not Shakara, Shakara. Chakraa. Rio versus Alexis Falcon and Bobby Tyler versus Sierra Loxton. Whoever wins those goes into a 6-woman elimination match to determine the first ever PCW Women's Champion. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Lauren, because she's the one that's been on all the shows recently. ICW is having a Fight Club TV taping, which we're calling it Rodney after Dave, so an Only Fools and Horses reference that apparently only the UK people will get in terms of listening to this podcast. So it looks as if the main event is Joe Coffey defending the world title against Colt Cabana, among other things. So Fight Club Pro, they've got International Tekkers Part 2 Championship Edition on Friday, featuring Chris Brooks versus Ray Phoenix, Chuck Taylor versus Mark Haskins, the Callous Hearts against mystery tag team opponents, Travis Banks versus Jeff Cobb, the Fight Club Dojo team, which is the team that's representing Fight Club Pro at King of Trios the following week, get a warm-up taking on Strangler Davis, Fire Ant, and Shane Strickland. We've also got the Session Moth taking on Dan Maloney and Jordan Devlin versus David Starr. On the Saturday, they're wrestling in London on a show that Owen will like the name of because it's called Capital Cockknocker 2. Reasons. So on that, we've got Shane Strickland versus Mark Haskins, CCK taking on the Gentleman's Club of Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. Which makes me wonder, is Chuck just over in the UK this week, or is he actually going to be part of the Shikara stuff? Which is interesting, considering he's PWG World Champion. Who knows? Tyler Bate taking on Jeff Cobb. Travis Banks with taking on Omari, and Pete Dunne versus Ray Phoenix. And then Progress, the sold-out show at the Electric Ballroom, as it always is. Go to Your God Like a Soldier is the name of it. Big matches confirmed so far. Ginny and Dahlia Black go one-on-one in a number one contenders match for the women's title. And then we got CCK versus Mustache Mountain in some capacity. Because it's going to be Trent versus Chris Brooks and Tyler versus Mondo Lycos. Whoever wins the two matches gets to choose stipulations for their tag title match at Ali Pali in a couple of weeks. So there's the possibility that Mustache Mountain could win one / British Strong Style, and CCK could win one, so they could both have stipulations. It'd be complicated. Destiny Wrestling's show this coming Friday in Halifax, Nova Scotia has been cancelled. So if you have got tickets for that, you can get a refund. Go to their Facebook page if you need any details. Their show, however, on the Sunday is happening. The big thing is the main event. It was originally supposed to be Scott D'Amore, Stone Rockwell, and RJ City versus Santino and Alberto El Patron. But this week they decided to pull Alberto from the card. In his place is Chavo Guerrero Jr. Also on that one, one that should be good, Josh Alexander versus Ethan Page. They're going to have a hell of a match, so you guys are lucky if you are going to the Destiny Wrestling show. And Randy Rain is facing some bloke called Jean-Pierre Goulet. Yeah, the guy from Raw is getting on Destiny Wrestling. Lucha in the 6, Lucha Toronto has got a show also this Sunday at Lee's Palace in Toronto, Ontario. The main event being Cassandro, the legendary Exotica, teaming up with Sonny Kiss, who I guess is the American Exotica, if you will, and also Deshaun Pratt to take on the bad guys of Danny Orlando, JFC, and Carter Mason. Grado is also going to be on that show as well, it's worth noting. And also the Fraternity defending the tag titles against the Super Smash Brothers, and if the Super Smash Brothers lose, they have to leave the company forever. Oldie Wrestling is having their new show at the Huron County Fair in Norwalk, Ohio. We've got Agent Dick Lahart, who may or may not be Super Cop Dick Justice, taking on El Paso Kid Gregory Iron. We've also got Jeff King versus Gentleman Jervis, I noticed as well. The Jollyville Jeepers versus the Symbol Space Monkey and OGZ. because he's the original gangster DJZ. And the rematch between Matthew Cross and Judge Hugo Lexington Black for the world title, because there are no other titles in wrestling. Because remember, oldie wrestling is in the 1800s. Probably. CWF Mid-Atlantic has its finale for the Johnny Weaver Cup tournament on the night with Logan Easton LaRue taking on Smith Garrett and Ethan Alexander Sharp versus Chet Sterling in the semi-finals. There's also a second pack, 6-pack challenge with Eric Royal, Bo Crockett, Merca Mercenary, Aaron Biggs, Mike Mars, and Snooty Fox, all possibly getting another title shot against Trevor Lee right there and then once they win. Also, the Modern Vintage Wrestling title will be on the line as Jason Kincaid's issued an open challenge. Eric Andrews will be facing a random challenger, randomly drawn at least by a VIP ticket holder. And the Rising Generation League title on the line as well, Kane Justice versus Dirty Daddy, along with a couple of other matches. Northeast Wrestling has its Wrestling Under the Star show in Pittsfield, Massachusetts this Friday. That is the show that's headlined by Cody defending the Northeast Wrestling title against Jerry Lawler, along with Rey Mysterio versus Flip Gordon. So that could be interesting. And then the big one is the Dutchess Stadium show in Waponga's Fall, New York, on Sunday, which also has a meet and greet with Jericho. And on that one, it will be Cody versus Rey Mysterio for the Northeast title. That's, of course, if Cody's champ. But I'm guessing from that card, he probably will be. Ryback Reeves will be facing the Wrecking Ball Legursky. And also Jerry Lawler teams up with Brandy Rhodes to take on Robbie E. and Diana Perazzo. I have no problem there. AIW has a show at Now That's Class in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a standing room only show. There's only going to be 2 tickets available. Also, it's outdoors, so you'll need some sunblock and everything, because the show is starts at 4 in the afternoon by the looks of it, Eastern. This show is going to be having Sandman on as well. I don't know who he's wrestling, if anybody. However, we can confirm that Tim Donst will be on the show, defending the Absolute title in a No Rules Anything Goes match against Danny Havoc in his last appearance in Ohio. Because he'll be retiring, I think, next month with his last match against Ricky Shane Page, from what I remember, which, of course, is hardcore. There's also going to be a Brawl for All with Every Time I Die's Andy Williams taking on Dominic Guarini, along with other ones. And I think, because of time, that's it. Won't bother mentioning anymore. Just looking at the comments. Again, Hyro said, what's our favorite Eddie match? To be honest, any of the matches he had with Ray, starting from, was it 21? And the build to the Dominic thing. But then, of course, you got the old the WCW. Well, I guess he did have some ECW matches, but the WCW stuff was probably good as well. Owen can probably attest to that if he is awake. Apparently he isn't. Should you go to a GFW or a PWG show? I mean, I would say PWG, but you've got to get tickets in about 5 minutes. That's the only issue, Hyro. In all honesty. So if GFW's affordable, because PWG tickets are roughly about $75 a pair. For the best seats, anyway. The Depends if the GFW shows a good price and if they've got a good card, in all honesty. But you probably don't know that, anything. Is the guy from Ohio versus everything doing a Jake Paul style haircut or gimmick? Probably, because apparently everybody thinks that's over. I don't give a fuck about that guy. As soon as he had a video that said England is my city, wow, he's intelligent as not. Fun memories meeting a WWE superstar. I mean, not yet. If I'm lucky, I might see Simon Grimm at Shikara. I guess that's the closest I'm going to get. Owen's met plenty of people at Halloween Horror Nights. Just saw them. Saw Cody, I think. Zach and Emma. Who's the biggest person that you've seen at Halloween Horror Nights, Owen?
Oh God.
Owens, probably.
Yeah, Owens, Xavier, Bailey, and Scott Dawson. I didn't see Cena, but I know he was there. I have confirmation. Roman Reigns was there one night. I didn't get a chance to see him that night. Paige, she was on the opposite side. Bray Wyatt.
We know that you've seen Paige and Alberto because we had that story.
Yep.
So yeah, Owen's seen a lot more people than I have because he's in the right place.
I am now.
But you know, Simon Grimm, you never know.
First WWE event.
I mean, technically, I'll be seeing Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, and they're WWE guys, whether you like it or not.
Right. That would be a SummerSlam 95. Razor and Shawn too.
What favorite Eddie Guerrero match?
Favorite Eddie Guerrero match? God, I need to start with Malenko. I need to start with Benoit. The final ECW match with Malenko. Always good at PWG.
Also, I'm trying to think, was it Benoit versus Guerrero at One Night Stand 2005?
Yeah, that was a great match too.
That was pretty good as well.
So yeah,
So I think that's it.
All
Well
right.
coming up, everybody. Congratulations.
Well, I got to be up in 4 hours.
You've got to be up in 4 hours. That makes sense. But, considering how long we spent on Impact, but then that means we don't have to cover it in too much detail. And it doesn't help that, obviously, What Culture decided to have 3 shows.
Yep.
Then again, they got 3 shows next week, but we obviously won't linger too long on Southpaw. Notice that's probably what dragged it out as well, but Southpaw's good. So be it. So be it.
Exactly. So that's your show. Follow along on Twitter at Popcast Network. Ashley can be found on Twitter at Ash is my name UK.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be having content popping up later this weekend, back with Gaming with Ash and some other assorted things. So that'll be on this weekend, I believe, Monday and Sunday and Monday. On Thursday, tomorrow, will be a brand new edition of Sip and Snack that I actually filmed at Magic Kingdom. So that's coming your way.
Uh-oh.
AJ takes over the network as always on Friday and Saturday with a brand new edition of Versus on Friday and new edition of AJ's movie reviews on Saturday. So that's coming your way, and that's your show. Thank everyone for following along for the Long Pop Weekend. Check out all links in the description bar for all the shows that we did. We'll be back here on 11:15-ish p.m. on Monday night for Raw. Back here next Wednesday at 9 p.m. for the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. And then the month of September, you're going to get a lot more Ashley and a lot less me. So stay tuned for the next 2 months because I'm doing Horror Nights and Ashley is going to be doing wrestling content.
Yep. For my sins.
Indeed.
Well, that could get interesting when we get to I'll give you guys advance warning when expect to see sporadic stuff when I'm going to the games convention.
Yep.
You might have to have like a 2-week sort of splurge or whatever then. Gaming with Ash will be coming up in the next day or two. The dust has settled on Gamescom, and I'm trying to work out which bit that I want to save for a rant on Sunday.
Sounds good.
Or Monday. Or both.
Follow me on Twitter at SerroneDisney. And on that note, also shout out to Acer5000 on YouTube, and also at Acer1337. Yes, in a row. For all the podcasts you should be listening to, wrestling and or otherwise. Thank you to Hyro, 1SSSS. I probably put too many S's on that. I'm tired. Christian M, as well as Logan and Pedro and Jeremy Mills. You guys are awesome. Thank you again. Oh, Hyro wants to know what part of England you're from.
Well, as you can, because I'm excited for King of Trios, I'm in the Midlands. I'm in the middle bit.
All right.
Somewhere in the middle. I'm not telling you where, because then you dox me and then you swap me. That's
there
not
we go.
good.
Gaming talk. So that being said, as always, go to Hot Topic, pick up your Elite long sleeve Bullet Club shirt, which is the last one I need to buy because Hangman and Guerrillas of Destiny came in today. And if something happens, I mean, I get surprised with a way to get to NXT. You may see me wearing that tonight when you see the tapings the next couple of weeks. But we'll see. Probably not, but there's a shot. So, as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, you're very pleased that once more tonight you've chosen the Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
I can't stop thinking about Susan. I found the song! Ah, Susan! Why did you fuck the gun?